Afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake.
To me, last night felt like you go up to Santa and you're like, Santa could, maybe for Christmas, we've been really good. Maybe Kings can, at least be competitive with the Celtics. Maybe beat the Celtics. And Santa just says, smack, right?
Right, exactly.
Like. Not for you.
You've been naughty. You don't deserve anything.
Yeah. Are you okay, big fella? Because you were pretty upset last night. You were calling for box scores and then tearing them up and going after people.
I'm still angry, man. I'm still upset. I'm still in shell. I'm shell shocked. I'm just down today, man. I'm disappointed. This is not the way I wanted to wake up today. I was excited. Obviously, Boston's a big game for me. Great team. Jaylen Brown's amazing. Derek White's playing out of his mind. But I thought my guys were ready. I thought my guys would beat. You know what? This will be the one time, because we've had our butts kicked by them, the last few years. I thought this was our best opportunity to knock them off, to get the win. And for us to come out like that and play like that, I'm disappointed. And I said it on the post-game show last night. Watching that game. See, when you're calling the game, it's a different feel. Because you got to keep your head into it. You got to, still describe the action. But when you're just sitting there watching it, and you got to stew on that.
I was going to say stewing it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's how I was last night. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm down, I'm stewing in it. Really nobody to talk to vent to or anything. I'm saving it up for the post-game show. And once post-game hit it just all came out, man. It just, it was pretty bad. It was the worst. I said it yesterday. This is the worst loss of the season. Not the Houston, not Pelicans, not Clippers. Last night was the worst loss of the season because we didn't have any excuse as to why we couldn't beat those guys last night.
I think the main reason is the Kings right now are just not as good as Boston. And it shouldn't have been that one-sided. But, the Kings have shortcomings. Boston sniffed them out as a predator will, took advantage of them. And I thought, really by late second quarter, you could see that, okay, it's going to be like this. The game tilted in Boston's favor. And I, like you, we discussed it yesterday. I thought things looked really promising for the Kings. But once the game started, you could see the way it was going and the way Boston just looked so physically dominant. I felt like, it's one of those games. It's one of those non-competitive nights for the Kings.
Yeah, I tell you, Whitey, we got much bigger problems if we're not better than a Boston team with no Jason Tatum and no Al Horford. If we can't compete with that team, we're much farther away than any of us thought. Because I'm not going Boston's a more talented team, yes. But that roster they put out there last night is not better than Sacramento's roster. I'm not giving them that.
Really?
Derek White's good.
What happened then?
Kristaps Porzingis is good. Jaylen Brown is good. Drew Holiday's good. After that, the Celtics fall off a cliff in terms of talent on that roster. That's why I'm so disappointed. I'm not upset that we lost to the Celtics. That happens. I'm upset we got embarrassed by that version of the Celtics.
Well, what's the problem
Pritchard
then?
Turning into Larry Bird out there.
Peyton Pritchard's a good shooter.
Exactly. Read the scouting report. That's what I'm talking about. Everything Mike Brown and the coaches preached, we did the opposite last night. What did I say, Whitey, yesterday during our show? Do you remember? I said the one way the Celtics can beat us. I don't know if you remember this or not. I said a lot of things yesterday. I said, if they shoot the three, that's their only way of really scoring without Jason Tatum. If they don't have the three ball, it's going to be difficult for them to score. Sure, Porzingis can get his bucket. Sure, Jaylen Brown. But Peyton Pritchard, he's a one-trick pony. Sam Hauser, he's a one-trick pony. And so I said it. Don't let them shoot the three ball. That's how you make They scored 104. That Celtics team scored 144 points. Come on, man. That's why I was so upset yesterday. And now you get my blood pressure worked up again. Because it's not losing to the Celtics. It's losing to those Celtics.
Well, then what's the problem? I look at that and say, wow, they're not as good as Boston right now. You say that's not the issue. What is the issue then? What is it about the Kings that they're lacking? You seem to be implying that they didn't bring the necessary focus.
Do we think they did?
And
I can't
intensity.
I'm not implying it. We saw it. We saw it. This was not a Celtics thing. This was a Kings problem last night.
You're fooling yourself.
No, not that roster. No,
Because
this was.
The
We didn't
Kings
play
were
zero
overmatched.
different. So are you telling me Peyton Pritchard is overmatching our guys? Is that what you're telling me? Listen,
Peyton Pritchard's
they
not
had
the whole team.
5 guys in double figures. I
Uh-huh.
mean, 20 or more
With 20,
points.
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
You know, I'm looking at their roster. Porzingis, solid player. Derek White. But the game plan is take away the 3. We let them hit 52% from 3. And so this is not a roster problem. This is an execution, toughness, whatever you will, kind of problem. And I think this is something the coaches cannot fix. This is on the players, what we saw last night.
Then I think you have to make some changes to the roster. I don't know that it's a matter of intensity. I don't think the Kings were flat last night. I think the Kings came out and got flattened. And you're right.
And it's just
Boston
like what
is a
happened to the
better team.
Pelicans, though. The Pelicans did the same thing.
Yeah,
If you remember
yeah.
at Golden 1, the Kings came out hitting on all cylinders. And then, bam,
Mhm.
Pelicans got some confidence, and they just took over that game and ran away with it. Watching that game last night, I said to myself, this is bad. Even when we were hitting threes, when they started to make their comeback in the second half of the first quarter, I'm like, we're just out here trading buckets. Like, this is not
Right.
we're not playing Kings basketball. This is not winning basketball we're playing. And I think there was fool's gold with those 11 3-pointers in that first quarter. And the Celtics cut it off after that. The 3 was a non-factor in the second half for Sacramento. They only got up 14 3-point attempts in the second half. And so the Celtics, give them credit. They did a great job. But to me, this is on Sacramento. This is on the Kings. I can't acknowledge and accept that Celtics roster last night is better than our roster. It's better than our team.
Really?
Yes, I can't accept that.
Hmm.
This was about effort. This was about execution. And this is about the players needing to look in the mirror, because what happened last night should not happen. Not without
Jaylen
Tatum.
Brown, Porzingis, White, and Holiday are still very formidable starting bunch. Yeah, they have Hauser in there, and he did some nice things. The Kings were overmatched physically. That's why it looked like they were flat. That's why it looked like they didn't
So
bring the
Derek White
intensity.
overmatched
They
us?
couldn't match
But
up.
Derek White is
Derek
overmatching
White
us?
did overmatch them
Right.
last night.
That's what
Clearly.
I'm saying. But you can't tell me Derek White overmatches De'Aaron Fox, overmatches Keegan Murray, overmatches Malik Monk.
You overmatched Kevin Herter. That's the guy that the
Kevin Herter
Celtics-
played 16 minutes.
because he couldn't
played.
stay on
Right.
the floor.
Exactly. But when you lose 144 to 119, we can't talk about Kevin Herter. We can't point the finger at Kevin Herter. We can't point the finger at Harrison Barnes. This is on every single player. And I cannot accept that if you take out Jason Tatum and Al Horford, that Celtics roster we see right there, that they're still an upper echelon team. Now, maybe if you want to tell me the Kings aren't as good as we thought, that Kings aren't a top 4 team in the Western Conference, but if you're a top 4 team in the Western Conference, you can't tell me that Celtics roster should overmatch you. And it wasn't even Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown had a great game. He had some monstrous dunks.
Yeah.
You know, but Derek White, you know why? Because here's the thing, Whitey, and you got me fired up. And I know we just starting, and I want to hear from Kings fans out there. It was the effort. Did you see the corner 3 that Derek White had about 20 seconds to set up? That's what I'm talking. That's not overmatched. That's not being we didn't play. We gave up 30 fast break points.
Mhm.
How do you give up 30 fast break points?
To
Why
a
do you,
team
and you
that
turn the
played
ball
night before.
and you turn the ball over 7 times?
The Celtics last night had 6 points off of JaVale McGee blocks. That is
Yeah.
twice. He blocked a shot, and they made a 3 anyway.
That's the
That
effort.
happened
That's the
twice.
hustle. That's what I'm talking about. You know, sure, they out executed us, great game plan and everything like that. But to your point, JaVale McGee blocked shots. They were faster to every loose ball. We look like the team on the second night
No
of a
question.
back-to-back.
No
And
question.
that's what's frustrating to me, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not pointing out Kevin Herter to try to blame him. I'm saying when you have a guy on the roster that the other team seeks out like a predator, sniffs out the weakness and goes after you, it speaks to how your roster is perhaps not a top caliber roster. And that's the big takeaway from last night. Nothing against Kevin Hurt or any particular player. It's like, if this team wants to be as good as Boston and other teams that are contenders, you probably are going to have to do something.
But let me ask you, is that a takeaway?
Was a lesson
or did we know
night.
that already? That's what I'm saying.
We didn't know that for sure.
I knew that. Wait, Sacramento, the current roster is not a championship level roster. Did you think it was a championship before last night's game?
No, but they'd been playing very well.
But that was against Utah. That was against Washington. That's what I said. Now, whatever happened to those games, is one thing to do it against them. Now you got to do it against Boston, a team that's going to put pressure on you. And that Boston is relentless. Boston is how we should be playing right now. That physicality Mike Brown's talking about, Boston, that's how they play no matter who's on the floor. But come on, I mean.
The one thing you and I both said, I don't know, Tuesday, I think it was, the 3 games upcoming against 3 good teams, Boston and Phoenix and Minnesota. We both said, well, what do we need to see? We both said, well, they got to be competitive in every game.
Yeah,
they were not last night.
And they weren't, but from a roster standpoint, and I also said, if I'm Monty McNair, I already know our flaws. I already know what we need. What happens these 3 games is not going to change anything. We hope Keegan Murray takes that next step up. We're going to have to give him some time, obviously, and be patient with him. But, when you look at our roster, and hopefully, I'm sure we're going to get into Kevin O'Connor coming up a little later. I had a chance to text with him last night about the Kings and his take on Sacramento, so I'll share some of that. But when you look at Sacramento, and I thought about this driving in today, what you see from the Kings is, at their best, they can be really good. But the problem this year is that their floor is lower than it was last year. Like there's they're Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah. One game, they look like they could be Western Conference Finals contenders. Then other times it looks like, you know what? This team, could be a first one and done, a play-in kind of team. And so I'm frustrated, man. I do want to hear from the fans today, too, because this is their chance to vent out there, 916-339-1140. I was calm, cool, collected, and then we got to bring this up again, Whitey. I mean, it's like, I'm like,
we were going to talk about today.
I know.
We got
my
a whole
Eagles
list of things that
Eagles don't play tonight.
Don't talk about the 49ers.
Right.
Don't talk about the Eagles.
Don't talk about Brock Purdy. Can't do that. Yeah.
Do we have Drape's takes?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
We're right back with those. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Christmas is in the air at Hanley's Kia. The season of giving back is bringing you an unbeatable deal on all 2024 Kia models. Drive home in style without breaking the bank. Introducing Hanley's Kia incredible leasing option for just $199 a month. Picture yourself behind the wheel of a brand new 2024 Kia, loaded with the latest features and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's the sleek Niro Hybrid with 54 mpg, an EV6 with up to 310 miles, the versatile Sportage, or the family-friendly Telluride. At Hanley's Kia, you can also reserve your luxurious full-size EV9 with 3 rows that has the comfort of a stylish interior and the peace of mind that comes with driving a brand you can trust. Head over to Hanley's Kia, the season of giving back today, located in Davis.
New 2024 Kia Niro Hybrid EX for $199 per month for 36 months after $7,999 customer cash due at signing plus $300 military customer rebate. 10,000 miles per year and 20 cents per mile after 30,000 miles based on sale price $30,545 and payment excludes taxes and DMV fees and any dealer fees. Vehicle ID number R5136-138.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Did last night in any way change your view of what these Kings are, what they can accomplish this year? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll get your calls in just a moment. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. Drape's having a tough time today. Is some of that, I understand where you're coming from, is some of it because of the whole you and the Boston thing and the things?
I give that 10%. Yeah. I give that 10%. Because I know this team. I know their players. I know some of their coaches had, some conversations with their coaches before yesterday's game. I think what, for me, is so upsetting is that they continually beat us the way they do. It's one thing to lose to Houston, to lose to the Pelicans. But against the Celtics, we get blown out every single time.
Right. Just
every single time. And so, yes, part of it is I got close ties to the organization, friends in the media and things like that. I want some bragging rights. But after a while, you just get tired of getting beat the way you've been getting beat. And what upset me the most, too, I don't know where all these Celtics fans coming from, Whitey.
Oh, I know.
But
apparently even Porzingis was surprised. Seriously, last night.
At the end of that game,
yeah.
Let's go Celtics. Like, they come out of, they're like groundhogs. They come out one day a year. And we saw them all. I had no idea. And I know the Celtics have a huge contingent worldwide. But, man, they come out one game a year. And so that bothered me also.
After we talked to Scal, and I know you had to get ready to do your TV, and Scal goes out into the concourse, and there's all these Celtic fans.
They were lining up for him and everything.
And he's signing off. And it was like, it wasn't even announced, but there's so many Celtic fans there. They saw him, and they're flocking to him. That brings us to Drapes Takes.
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
Let me start off by saying this. This is going to be the most uninspired Drapes Takes of the season. I can't say anything positive about last night's game. My guy, De'Aaron Fox, celebrating his 26th birthday, comes out. What does he do in the first half? Scores 26 points. I'm like, okay, D-Fox is ready. No Jason Tatum, didn't matter. De'Aaron Fox was going to be the best player on the floor. What happened in the second half? Where did he go in the second half? 3 points for De'Aaron Fox, an MVP candidate in the second half? I said it yesterday on the post-game show, and this will be the theme of Drapes Takes. We got to be better. De'Aaron Fox, we got to be better. I'll also look at the defense. When you allow the Boston Celtics to shoot 55% overall, 52% from three, 30 points in transition, then you look at the points in the paint. They won that battle also. And you let them hit 22 threes. Don't talk to me about an improved defense, Whitey.
Oh, their defense
Their
is terrible.
defense is –
yeah.
Don't be fooled by what we see against Utah or whatever. Because – and Scal pointed this out too. Scal said fourth quarter defense. I'm going to put it like this. How about defense against the best of the best? Because that's what we're trying to measure ourselves against. I don't care what kind of defense you play against San Antonio, Detroit, Utah, Washington. I need the defense on nights like last night. So all this talk about an improved defensive team, it's going to be a minute before I jump back on that bandwagon. I don't care what the rating says. I don't care what the number says. You got to do it against an upper echelon team.
And
Whitey.
I still think that's at the very heart of the whole issue for the Kings. Until they're a better defensive team, they're going to be an up and down team. I think that's their nature.
Last Drapes Take. I'm at the point, if I'm Mike Brown, and I know it's one game, guys. It's 1 of 82. But when you got 7 losses of 20 or more points, I think it is, this season, or 7 double-digit losses.
I think they tied the number they had from last season.
Yeah, exactly. Something has to be done. A lineup change, a rotation change, something. Because like I said last segment, Kings fans, this Kings team has the potential to be good, really good. Maybe not finals contender, but they should be a Western Conference final caliber kind of team. But as we've seen through the first 26 games, they also have the potential to flame out early. Mm-hmm. And so what we're seeing now, to me, if I'm Monty McNair, if I'm Mike Brown, if I'm Wes Wilcox, whoever, I need to nip whatever problems we have, whatever issues we have in the bud right now. We cannot go into March and April having the same issues that we have right now. So something needs to change. Bring in some reinforcements. Go out there and get an Alex Caruso, somebody like that. Go out there and make that kind of move. I don't know if Matisse Thybulle would move the needle, but it's clear as day. And to your point, Whitey, we knew that before yesterday, but it's like The Celtics came in with a big floodlight and shined it on us last night about our team's issues last night.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't know, you know right now. This team, and we're talking about winning a championship. It's not. You can make the playoffs. You can even maybe win a series, but we're trying to move forward. And so that's Drape's takes, man. I know we got 3 hours and 45 minutes to talk today. I'm all talked out. Like, I don't know what to say about what happened last night.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm asking the question. As you said, game like that last night, you got to make some changes. Okay. And I understand. On the other hand, I mean, they've been playing well up into that. So you got a game against Phoenix tomorrow. It's a big game.
Right.
So do you risk overreacting to last night was dreadful? The team had been playing well. Do you just give them one more chance? I mean, that's where it is. That's where it gets so difficult when the team is up, playing great. They're terrible.
Right.
You know?
And that's one thing we've talked about the last couple of weeks, the roller coaster that we're going to be on this season,
Yeah.
And so my belief is, all right, if we want to keep it as is, as Kings fans, then we got to accept we're going to have games like this. We're going to look good some nights. We're going to look terrible some nights. But that's our job. Monte McNair's job is to put together a championship roster. His job is to make sure our dips aren't that low. Like when we hit the rock bottom, all right, you lose by 6, you lose by 8, you lose by 10. You don't get down by 35 or whatever it was. What was Celtics but 30 points last night? Come on, man. Yeah. Especially at home. In a game they didn't have Jason Tatum or Al Horford. In a game that they had just played the night before against Golden State in overtime.
Non-competitive.
Yeah. And so if I'm Monte McNair, Mike Brown, whoever's in charge, I'm not trying to build a roster for Friday against Phoenix, for Saturday again. I'm trying to build a roster for April, May, and June that can sustain. And so you can't have these kind of ups and downs in the playoffs because you can't count on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know which Kings team is going to show up, based on what I saw last night.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at.
It's one thing that's constant when a team like New Orleans, when they came in here on that Monday night, Boston last night, when a team that's big, has some size and some length, they come in and they play physically, the Kings can't outmatch it. And Mike Brown says, we have to match that. Understand that. Understand they work on that. They're not capable of matching it, right? Either that or there's something else wrong, like they don't have the will, which I can't believe, because they cannot keep up with teams like that.
No, and it goes back to whether it's the Clippers, the Pelicans. There are certain teams, throw the Celtics in there, for some reason, whether it's their pressure on us defensively, like we talked about the physicality, whatever it may be, we can't deal with. And so if I'm Monty, I'm going to get some players that can deal with it.
Right.
We talked about it, Whitey. We want to have a team that no matter who the opponent is, we're able to adapt.
We dictate to you what's going
Warriors
on.
want to play fast? Okay, we could do that. We could play fast, a finesse game. Celtics want to play a rough, beat it up kind of game. Physical, we could play that. We could play that. And so that's what you want. Like Denver can play in anything. They can outshoot you from the 3 if they want. They can grind you on the inside. They could defend you with KCP and Aaron Gordon on the perimeter. And so that's where we need to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So
what we need to do is get ready for Frankie. I know the calls are lined up. We'll get to the calls here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Our Kings Insider, Frankie Cardicelli. Where does this go from here? What do the Kings do after last night? Frankie's got all the answers, right? We'll find out next when he joins us here. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia. I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your forecast as we go through the day today, expect to have a mix of clouds and sunshine with temperatures warming into the mid-60s with light winds from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey? Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, this is Travis Kelce, NFL tight end and proud member of the Lowe's home team. Lowe's knows when you've got the best price, you've already won. That's why we offer the lowest price guarantee. If you find a better price online or in store, we'll match it. Now you can score on the top brands from the Lowe's home team picks, like Scotts, LG, and DeWalt. So take on your projects with confidence. Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retail partner of the NFL.
Price match applies to same item, current price of qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
It's Kia's season of giving back at Folsom Lake Kia. Get low year-end prices and payments, plus low finance rates and even zero down deals with approved credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Hey, I came as fast as I could. What's wrong?
Everything's okay. I just need you to know I'm glowing up.
You just texted SOS Get Here Now.
And I stand by that because I switched to Cricket and got the all-new Motorola Razr. I have entered my flip era, and I am glowing up.
I'm going to go back home.
I support that.
Switch to Cricket and get the all-new Motorola Razr for $199.99. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Must open a new line on a $60 month voice plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
It's the season of performance event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com. Where precision crafted
It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at HagenOaks.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Hey, it's Juice and Mo. Make this Christmas unforgettable by shopping at our friends Sharif Jewelers.
Do you even remember what you thought last Christmas?
No.
Well, you got to make this one memorable.
Okay.
Make sure to go into Sharif Jewelers. You can get diamond studs, tennis bracelets. There's so many classic, timeless pieces that can be worn every single day, available in both lab-grown and natural mined.
In so many different price points. So don't go anywhere else this holiday season. Support a local, family-owned business rooted in Sacramento for 30 years. Sharif Jewelers.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The holiday season is right around the corner, so give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a Stihl. With powerful trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws to place under the tree, the Stihl Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone. Save $30 on the BG56 CE handheld blower. Visit your local Stihl dealer or go to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Real Stihl. Find yours. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Same as it ever was with the Celtics knocking off the Kings. Drive Guys here. PTI just had their NBA Roundup segment, and they were showing some Kings Celtics highlights. Their question was, what was the most intriguing result of last night? There are many words I would use to describe that Kings game. Intriguing would not be one of them. To tell us more about what words are useful in understanding that game, our Kings insider, Sacktown Sports, Frankie Cardicelli. Hello, Frankie. It's going to be just you and me because Kyle doesn't really feel like talking about the game.
Like, seriously, what is there to say, Frankie? You're the expert, though. I'm glad we got you on, man.
Expert? I don't know. I'm listening to you guys for that. But, yeah, there's not much you really can say. I was telling you guys off recording that the Kings really just got beat in every category. There's not really anywhere you can look and say, well, at least they got beat in the paint. They got beat fast break. They got beat on the perimeter, which – again, I wrote up my preview yesterday saying, the Celtics are the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league in attempts and makes. Might want to pay a little attention. And it's a low bar. They were 18-0 and they shot 33% or better. They're an incredible team.
Right.
Granted, their record's incredible. It's a low bar, but they went a little over that mark. And by a little bit, I mean, first time. And I think, well, what was it? Like last year, the Mavericks had 5 guys score 20 or more, but five guys score 20 or more. And again, the Celtics have good players, but definitely just not an ideal situation for a team that seems to get behind that 8 ball in these blowouts and they never can recover.
Never. Frankie, you talked about, writing about the 3-point shot. The game plan clearly had to be take away the 3, right? Like that's what Boston does. And so when I watched that game last night, I'm not going to put it on Mike Brown, even though he says he got outcoached. He's taking some of the blame. But we all know what the game plan is when you play the Boston Celtics. I'm putting it on the players for lack of execution, lack of effort. You can't give up 30 fast break points when you only turn the ball over 7 times. Think about that. They're getting rebounds, inbounding, whatever it is, and they're just out hustling you, outworking you. And to me, that's on the players last night.
Yeah, there was a couple of plays in particular, especially when the game started getting away in the early third quarter. Loose balls, like 50-50 balls, like De'Aaron Fox going for a ball in the corner. You see Derek White come flying in and rip it away from him. Keegan Murray down the post, which he's had an issue with getting the ball and going straight up with it. He wants to put the ball on the floor or make a gather dribble. Go right up with it. And you're getting the ball poked free by Jaylen Brown. And it's just a lot of small things that turn to a big run. And especially look at the Kings, who've been a bad defensive team since the beginning of last year. And they've taken some steps forward, but when you play against a team, and I think Deuce Mason said it last night too, just that there are levels to this. And the Kings against the Boston Celtics, you're not going to survive a run like that.
Quick question, though, because I get it, but without Tatum and Al Horford, this isn't the same Boston Celtics. And I know they still have quality players. Their system is great and things like that. But shouldn't we have been able to be more competitive against this version of the Celtics? Like I understand there's levels to it, but the Celtics that we saw last night isn't the real Celtics without Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
It's a lower version of that.
Peyton Pritchard scoring, and good player, good player, good bench piece, but doing what he did last night, what did he finish with 20 plus, 20?
Yeah,
20,
he was one of those guys. Yeah.
20 points off the bench on 6 of 11. You have obviously Derek White has been playing some great basketball this year. Brendan Nunes and I were talking about just how the Kings could really use a guy like that, just a defense, 3-point heavy guy. But that being said, if the Kings are who we want them to be, the fans want them to be, and we all think they should be, which is a true contender, you can't have games like that against shorthanded teams. And it's something that happens time and time again that we've seen with the Sacramento Kings. They play against these shorthanded teams, and, you never are happy for injuries ever. But sometimes you look at a matchup and go, hey, maybe the Kings can get one tonight. And that's never the case. It really is never the case when they play against these teams.
Frankie Cardicelli is, of course, our Kings insider, Sacktown Sports. Did last night in any way, perhaps it didn't, I don't mean to be asking a leading question, but did last night change your view of how good the Kings are right now and what they may need to do at the deadline?
No, I think it's going to be a longer conversation, and especially when you look at the Kings, who have done a very good job of handling adversity. They've answered a lot of these punches that have been thrown at them. Even in the playoffs, when they lose 3 straight to the Warriors, they punch back and win their first game on the road in however many, I think it was 4 years since Chase Center opened. They handle adversity very well, and I expect them to come out tomorrow and look a lot better against Phoenix. But I think with the conversation of what to do with the roster, I think you got to get a little more into January and see where you are, and maybe even to the end of January. And that's something that Chris and Alan, Brent, we all talked about it at a roundtable on Wednesday. We all agreed that we're not really ready to pull the plug on this group yet. And they're a very tight knit group. And I think that if you go ahead and you break up that core that's been together since the beginning of last year, mid-season, it can go one or two ways. I think it can either go really, really well for you or really, really poorly. And I think we've seen it go poorly more times than not with other NBA franchises. So it's clear the team needs defense. They need length. They don't have enough defenders to guard teams like the Celtics, like the Pelicans, like the Clippers. How can they get there? We know it's going to take a move, but does it happen now or does it happen maybe next year in the summer when more players become available? Because right now, the names that you're hearing, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Zach LaVine, is that going to be it? I mean, not that those aren't enough, but like if that's all that's out there right now, I'm not sure if that's really going to fix the problem right now. I think there might be other players that come available down the line. And
you're right, like Jeremy Grant. You're right.
Jeremy Grant, yeah, sure.
That's his guy, Jeremy Grant.
He's not available till January 15th. I'll be keeping an eye on
him. You're counting on the days, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Frankie Cardicelli joining us, Sacktown Sports 1140 Kings insider. Frankie, I feel for De'Aaron Fox. Big night for him. Birthday, comes out on fire. What do you think happened in the second half? And I know the game got out of hand and it got away. Did the Celtics do something? Did the Kings go away from Fox? Was Fox not as aggressive? Only 2 shot attempts in the second half for De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the matchup stats exactly, but I know that in certain sets that Drew Holiday was giving him a hard time, obviously, and denying, and then Derek White, 2 very good defenders. And the Kings obviously had a good night offensively, which is insane that they shoot 47% from the field and from 3 and they lose. But they were kind of going to other guys there later in the second half, and Fox wasn't getting enough 3-point attempts up because that's one thing they really tried to do. They tried to deny Fox early up in the front court to not let him get into that 3-point shot because he was stepping into 30-footers last night and knocking him down, which that's just who he is now. But they were doing a good job of taking him away from that because that was really their entire offense in the first half. He was their guy. And when he stopped scoring, the Kings in a way stopped scoring too. And, you know, Fox has got to find a way to kind of find a different avenue to get buckets. And we know he can, but when you look at what the Celtics are doing to seal off the paint, and Kristaps Porzingis last night, 6 blocks, just giving them nightmares down there. I think that was taken away from him too. So when you take away the 3 and the paint, there's not really much more you can do than force. And Fox isn't really a guy that forces too many looks.
Frankie, Mike Brown said, as he always does, some really interesting things after the game. He talked about being out-coached. He talked about accountability coming from within. Some really interesting things. I'm wondering if there was one main takeaway you had from Coach Brown's post-game, what that would be from last night.
I mean, last night and today too, it just kind of to chalk it up as, you know, it's one game and we're going to move on. Same thing, De'Aaron Fox, the same thing today too. Just what I think he was asked today, just how are you handling it? And he's like, oh, it's over with. It's in the past. We're going to move on. And I know that's not an answer people really love to hear.
It's certainly what the Celtics did with their loss to the Warriors.
They moved on, right? They turned the page.
You have to. And it's because it's game, 26? Like, there's a long way to go. And 2 big ones ahead of you. And I think dwelling on what happened last night won't do anybody any good. I mean, obviously, the red flags are red flags, and you can't go ahead and ignore those in the long term. But you got a game tomorrow night against Phoenix, who will have Kevin Durant playing.
Yeah.
They did not have Kevin Durant playing last time in Phoenix. And that's one thing that we've all talked about. I think among the, you know, obviously last night on social media, there was an uproar of people, you know, national media not giving the Kings the respect they may or may not deserve. And the wins they've pulled aside. But, you know, the Suns win. There was no Kevin Durant. There was no Bradley Beal. No Bradley Beal tomorrow night. But the Kings need to focus on what's in front of them right now. And they have a very hard back-to-back against Kevin Durant and the Suns, and then Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves on Saturday.
Yes.
Frankie, should we read into not only just losing, but the way they're losing, the blowout losses? Is how much should we be concerned about that?
I think it's definitely something that we should be a little concerned about, because I think stopping the run, that's one thing I'm looking for. They can't stop these runs. When the Kings get behind, and the Clippers did it, the Pelicans did it twice, the Rockets did it, there just really isn't a way to break it up. And I know Mike Brown will call timeout, but they pick up these opposing teams pick up right where they are leaving off. And that's the question, is how do you stop that? How can you make them uncomfortable? How can you pressure these teams into changing their game plan? And right now, it's not happening. I mean, the Celtics are just going last night. And again, maybe it's the Kings blowing defensive rotations. I don't know, but it just seemed like no matter what happened, there was an open guy in the corner knocking down a 3. And that's credit to Boston, who again is from a record standpoint, their best record in the NBA, 21-6. you got to tip your cap. Like, these guys are a very good offense. They have a good defense. They have good, pretty much everything. Good depth, as we saw, missing 2 core guys, 1 MVP candidate. So being able to stop those runs is one thing I'm going to keep an eye on. And when the Kings give up these big, 12-2, 14-2 runs, whatever, what have you, apply pressure, make guys uncomfortable, get physical. And they've missed that physical presence. What you see with Keegan getting the ball poked away from him, with guys hustling and getting a little physical and taking loose balls away from De'Aaron Fox. The Kings need to have some plays like that. They need some guys to go out there and get gritty. And that might be a reason why, the Kings brought in Juan Toscano-Anderson. Have a guy out there to be an enforcer, not for long minutes, but just guys that can go out there and aren't afraid to throw their body around. Alex Len is another guy, too, who was back at practice today. So I'd keep an eye on that.
Frankie always makes me feel better. Make you feel any better today?
Yeah, he did. It was like
Simone
a therapy
says,
session.
There you go.
I brought the gifts. I brought the gifts, too.
Gifts right here.
From
I
HR.
appreciate that.
Yeah, that are from somebody else.
Not for me.
That's
the thought this counts.
Thank you, Frankie. We appreciate it. Obviously, great Kings coverage. SacktownSports.com. When we come back, bad loss. What's next? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. As promised, we'll get your calls next. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey. He walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey. Takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown. CMC.
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. The 49ers keep on winning this holiday season, sporting a 5-game win streak since the bye week. San Francisco took care of Seattle in Week 14, 28-16. Quarterback Brock Purdy had a career high in passing yards last Sunday, throwing for 368 yards. The Red and Gold are now the first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot this season, currently holding the number 1 seed in the NFL.
Celebrating over a century as a family-owned business, EB Stone has gathered in valuable insights into nurturing plant growth. Venture into indoor planting with EB Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil. Watch your little plants flourish into ideal indoor companions for the whole family to relish during the holidays. EB Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is a meticulously crafted blend of essential ingredients. Your plants will thrive, both indoors and outdoors. Trust EB Stone for the entire lifespan of your garden. Explore more gardening tips, products, and find nearby locations at ebstone.org. Wishing you a season filled with joy and flourishing greenery.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
We can be heroes.
You've seen Cody Lee not once, but twice on America's Got Talent. And now is your chance to see him live at Gold Country Casino Resort. Get your tickets now to see America's Got Talent winner, Cody Lee. January 20th at 8 p.m. Only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
This show is open to all ages. At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Bad loss. Bad loss. 144-119, as you know, to the Celtics. So now what? It's just again one game, shake it off, or do you have to look at this as an indication of some deeper flaws and react to that? What do? Bad loss. Now what? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Kyle Draper, who's with your help, with Frankie's help, with my help, I think, starting to warm up to the idea of actually talking more about the game and feeling better about it.
You know, because I'm at the point now, Kings fans, I had my say. I vented last night. I vented our first few segments. Now we need to come up with some solutions.
Mm-hmm.
How do we make sure Friday night it doesn't happen? Saturday it doesn't happen. That's what I want to hear too. I understand the level of frustration because I'm frustrated too.
By the way, did you see what Eric Gordon is saying about the Suns?
No,
they haven't been playing well, and they just lost to Portland. And he's saying,
he
says we're playing selfishly, and so there's some things going on with the Suns.
And he's a newbie too. Like he just come in.
I wonder if that means they're not throwing the ball to me.
Right. Yeah, he's not getting enough looks. That's interesting. We'll see him tomorrow though.
Yeah. Let's talk to Doug here. Doug, thanks for listening. You're with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Doug.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
I am not in the same context for many that things are really horrible, but you have to see where you are in the scope of things. So if you go in there trying to compete against the Bostons, the Philadelphias, the Milwaukees, the top teams in the East, and you use that game last night as a measurement, regardless of who played, how did you execute? Where you are in the game up to halftime? You were going punch for punch with them, and then they get the second half of the game and going, "We're putting you guys away," and then we didn't have anything to combat that with, and so the score ended up what it ended up. So there's some things that they did coaching wise that they ran a lot of that high screen and roll, and they kept putting, I think, Sabonis in it 2-3 times in a row, and they kept getting the shots that they wanted. So we didn't have anything to counteract that, and that's something that you can go in and do. But also you have to have the players on your roster that allow that to happen. We're not there yet. Hey, last year was fantastic. You get to the first round, game 7. Hey, what are you trying to do this year? You're trying to get past the first round, into the second round, and see what happens. So there's players out there that you can go and say, this guy's a better fit for us. We need more guys who can do these things, and they have more tools in their toolbox. So we don't have enough guys that can play defense and offense. We got a lot of guys that are going, we can lock somebody down. So, hey, can you shoot the ball? Not so good. So those are things that Monty's going to be out there looking for at the trade deadline and see the chips that we have. Boston is good. If Porzingis played the night before against the Warriors, I don't think the Warriors win because they had, 10 block shots last night for the Celtics? And what they do, they took Fox out of his game, and he's coming down there, and it's not everything is a foul, and he got his stuff swatted, and that's what happened. And so there's all kinds of different aspects. They were playing chess, we were playing checkers, and they kept making moves, and we didn't have a counter move. Love the show. Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you,
all
Doug.
I got.
Appreciate it. Doug, maybe Doug should have his own show here.
Yeah,
huh?
that was a good call,
The
Doug.
Doug show.
That was an excellent call.
Yeah, thank you.
I disagree with him on a couple of things, but he's allowed his opinion because he mentioned the defense. And when I'm watching that game last night, Whitey, one thing that perplexed me was, why are we switching on everything? Like they ran that Porzingis, to get
Herder.
Herder. Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
why are we switching on
Herder
that
on Zinger.
every time? And he just turns around, shoots right over him every time. And so, I said it wasn't on Mike Brown and the players. I can't imagine. Like, thought we switched way too easily last night defensively. And when that, to me, that's a sign of, you know what? I don't want to fight through the screen. I want to be lazy, and that's what I took out of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the Warriors started that years ago, switch on everything, right? The idea is supposed to be we're interchangeable.
Yeah.
You can't gain an advantage with your screens because we're all about same size. But obviously that wasn't the case last night. By the way, what did you think of this? Mike Brown said after the game, we complain too much. He said it starts with me.
Oh, yeah. That was a big part of last night, especially in that first half. I mean, every time. And Mike Brown, like you said, echoed it. It seems like they sort of get out of whack. They let the officiating get in their heads.
Yep.
And that affects their play.
Kind of a woe is me thing.
Yeah, exactly. And, there was a point where I think Malik Monk tried to calm the bench down, the coaches down, told them to be quiet. And so it's not just the players that are having troubles, dealing with the officiating. The coaching staff also is having an issue.
Yeah. As the great Bill Horrenda taught me, you probably heard this.
Yeah.
When you're playing, you treat the officiating like you would the weather. If the call's going one way, you adjust. If it's cold outside, you wear something warmer. Right. You can't complain about the weather.
Yes.
You just have to adjust to it.
Yeah. Way too much complaining yesterday.
Yeah. Let's see. Casey joins us on Sacktown Sports, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Casey, what's up?
I was at the game last night. Probably left about 8 minutes early. I just couldn't take any more of those Boston fans, man. Too many fans there. It was embarrassing for the Kings fans to have that many Boston fans there. And as far as the game goes, I don't understand where the Kings are soft. They're so soft. They're softer than toilet paper. You don't get curb stomped at home like that and not lay a hard foul on somebody. You just continually let them get to the rack and nobody steps up and fouls somebody hard. Like, you wonder why they're getting to the rack, because they know they're going to get a ticky-tack foul call and get an and one anyways. So it's like we've had 7 games where we've lost by 20 points. And can you remember in any of those games or even all season long where we've had one guy come in and foul somebody hard and let them know, hey, maybe you're not going to get to the paint tonight and just lay it up every time? What do you guys think about somebody needing to lay a hard foul on somebody?
Thank you, Casey. I know you were hanging on a long time. I appreciate that. I just, it's very appealing, but it's in today's NBA, it's really, you run the risk of getting ejected or it's just not like it used to be.
Right. You're not going to get that enforcer, somebody that lays out a guy. But I will say, to Casey's point, one of the problems I have is when teams are putting the wood on us, they're laughing and smiling. They're having fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
And so maybe you don't have that enforcer or anything, but instead of looking deer in the headlights, shell-shocked, let me see some frustration out on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see a technical foul. Let me see Mike Brown get tossed out. Let me see in the huddle somebody throw a clipboard or something like that. Let me see a player challenge it. Just show me a pulse in those situations. I'm not saying go out there and take a guy out or anything like that. But when you're getting beat as badly as you were yesterday, don't just sit there and take it.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing this season, which has been so frustrating.
Yeah, the other thing, Casey, and you were there, sometimes it's hard to put a hard foul on somebody when they're going to the basket because nobody's near them. They spread out the Kings defense and there's overhelp because they're so weak on the perimeter. You get overhelping, defense gets totally out of position, and then you got to drive from the other team right to the rim, nobody there, and then if somebody helps there, they throw it out for a wide open three. Teams just stretch the Kings defense to the point where it's totally transparent almost. Just there's nothing there, no substance to it.
And maybe the word's out. All you got to do is run your offense a couple of times through, and the Kings are going to make multiple efforts defensively. To your point, the Celtics work the ball around. They work their offense. And the Kings, like, how many open threes did they get? I'm going to look this up in our next break.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they had wide open looks, like, where guys are just – and Mike Brown called several timeouts after some of those threes where guys just sit there instead of trying to actually challenge and close out. They look and sort of give up on the play almost, and that's frustrating. And like I said, Brown called some timeouts. Those timeouts did not work last night.
Right. He even said, I tried to call him out. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I have to think the public view today, what the Kings are saying is one game, we're fine.
Yeah.
That's what they're presenting publicly. In-house, it's got to be more of what Mike Brown said last night.
Yeah.
Along the lines of, you guys need to call each other out. Somebody needs to hold somebody else on this team.
That's what I'm talking about, Whitey. That's what I'm talking about. Where's I'm gonna just throw out a name. Where's Malik Monk yelling at so-and-so? Dude, you missed that defensive assignment. Like,
he said,
they have
I
to
can't
police
always do it,
themselves.
guys.
Yes.
It has to come from, and he said, starts with Foxy and Sabonis, but it can be anybody.
They
He's
just
practically
accepted
begging
it.
for
Yeah.
it.
They
on
just
nights like
accepted
last
that
night.
butt kicking last night, and that's upsetting.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. As you know, did the Celtics break the Kings? Well, guess who says they did? That's next here with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
If that sound gives you nightmares, there's a cheap and easy way to avoid engines not firing. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Pour Stable in your gas can or directly into the tank of your car, truck, hybrid, boat, ATV, motorcycle, or lawnmower to prevent fuel-related engine problems that cost time and money. When you store, start with Stable.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition Smart Bed and Sunday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
This is Jeff Scott. Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now, there are medicines that can treat COVID whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
This holiday season, Good Guys Heating and Cooling is turning up the warmth and spreading joy with our Toys for Tune-Ups promotion. Schedule your tune-up or troubleshooting appointment, and with a donation of a new unwrapped toy at the time of your service, we'll waive the fee. It's our way of giving back and making a difference in the lives of local children who might not have the Christmas that every child deserves. All toys will benefit Children's Hope, a wonderful local foster charity right here in Sacramento. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling at 530-GOOD-AIR to schedule your appointment or book online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Happy holidays from the Good Guys family. License number 1057618.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
All Kings fans love Kevin O'Connor, right? Oh, isn't he just the best? He had some interesting things to tweet about the game last night, which we'll get to. Buddy Gleason, Kyle Draper. And I guess you had a little exchange with him, huh?
Yeah, I texted Kevin O'Connor. He's my guy. I used to work with him in Boston. Once he put out that tweet, I said, enough is enough. Like, this is ridiculous. Why is he out here trolling? And so I texted him. Let me pull this up here. Hopefully I'm not betraying his trust. There was nothing really earth-shattering or anything like that.
He's still not coming on the show, huh?
No, he won't come on. First of all, I've invited him on several times.
I know.
I said, dude, when are you coming on my show? He says the Ringer frowns or doesn't allow him to go on shows. That sounds kind of weak to me, right? That sounds kind of weak.
Yeah.
I told him, tell Bill Simmons you're coming on with Drapes and Whitey. It'll be okay. He didn't respond to that. And I'm like, dude, why you're trolling now? He's like, Drapes, winning a title is the goal. He said, this team has that upside with the right moves. Sorry, my expectations are higher, he says, for Sacramento. I said, you sound like me. I'm like, all right, then, you're the expert. What should we do? And I told him, don't say trade Sabonis, because, that's one of the first things he would probably say. Oh, you can't win with Sabonis. He says, you need size next to Domantas Sabonis, someone bigger than Barnes/Murray who can protect the rim. That's hard to find. He says, Kristaps Porzingis is in that rare category that you can pair. And because I brought up Brook Lopez. I said, you know what? Brook Lopez, I think, would fit. Because I said you need shooting alongside Domas also. You need a big that can shoot and also protect the rim. So I said, a Brook Lopez. And he said, yeah, and a Kristaps Porzingis is in that rare category. So hard to find guys like that. And so I don't know what's going on with Kevin O'Connor. And I understand I've been on this case. My social media timeline is all about Kevin O'Connor. Kings fans are upset with him, and rightfully so, because I don't think Kings fans are upset with what he's saying.
I was going to point that out. There's some similarities between what he's saying and some things
we've said. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've said that. But I think Kings fans are upset that he only weighs in on the Kings after a loss. Where was that talk, that
Crickets,
smoke?
when they're playing well.
Yeah, when DeMontis has back-to-back triple-doubles and he's playing lights out and all, you don't hear anything. But as soon as the Celtics manhandle it, he runs to his computer or his phone. Oh, I got to tweet this out. And so I think that's what Kings fans are upset. It's like, all right, you can have those opinions, but when we're playing well and doing good things, where's some love on that end? So, yeah.
Yeah, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's see. Is this Willie? Willie back with us there? Willie. Hey, how are you, Willie? You're on the Drive Guys. What's up?
It's Will's guys. It's Will. What's up, Drake?
Yeah. Will, what's up, man?
Hey, look, man. I felt for you last night. Look, I know where you're coming from. Hey, look, we all love the Kings, but we have to be real. Look, like last night, I saw you in the post game. You was hurting. You was really hurting, and then Cornbread gonna come up there talking mess.
Oh, you heard that too?
I saw it, man. It was on TV, man. Look, here's the thing, though. The only way we can shut up guys like that O'Connell guy, look, let him say what he want to do. Why y'all don't trip on that guy? We gotta prove him wrong. See, when way back halfway through the season, when I was, and I was upset, and I would call you and say, "Will, man, chill out." I was upset. That team they should never lose a game by 20 points. Never, ever. I mean, and now it's what? How many is it now? 5 or 6?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
7, I think.
7. I think we're at 7 now.
Now, Dre, you know what I'm saying. Look, we have high expectations for this team. And I know, and listen now don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that JaVale would have made a big difference last night. But my point is, who's out there blocking shots, hustling, all on the floor, all over the floor, 7-footer playing defense? See, everybody has to do that. You can't be just reaching at balls and think they're gonna come here. That's the problem with the Kings. You got to play angry sometimes. You know what I'm saying? JaVale McGee does that, and then you say you don't want to blame the coach at all. But look, just hear me out. Hear me out now. I ain't saying the coach is his fault, but my point is, you guys, everybody saw how they was setting up. Heard it with the screen. They made the screen and switch it. And then Brown didn't do nothing. He had no adjustments there. And then he waits sometime till we get down by 20 before he make any kind of adjustment. That has to change. That has to change. And everybody got to play angry sometimes. To get all them smiles and, guy hit a 3, you just turn around and run down the court. Man, that's got to stop because we don't lost. Look, you know what I'm saying, Dre.
Really, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the Kings on a field trip. Willie, hear me out. And I'm going to take the Kings on a field trip to Folsom, the Lifetime in Folsom, when I play on Sunday mornings. Because the happy-go-lucky drapes you see in between the lines, diving for loose balls, getting into, it's just, it's not sunshine and rainbows on the basketball court.
Yeah. And that was cold when they showed, the dude charged you and they showed you laying on the ground. Man, look.
You saw that?
Was fine.
All right, Willie. Hey, man. We'll appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Will.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I thought you were in the restricted circle there on that.
Oh, that was a block. I was moving just a little bit. No, that was a clear charge. And from that moment on, I will tell you this, because that's the first time I got hit squarely by an NBA player. If that's how the game is, these dudes take a lot of punishment.
Was that Scal?
That was Scal.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I don't think
Scal
they
came
said,
downhill,
yeah,
and I wanted to take the charge, and he just flattened me. It was tough. Yeah.
Steven joins us on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Steven. What's on your mind, sir?
How's it going, boys?
Good.
What's going on?
Hey.
Not much, man. So I'm kind of on the hype of last night was obviously an awful one. And I do notice that we do get upset when the refs are being funny, but we can't, I feel like, why are you going to let them take the game from you? Why are you going to give the refs that kind of power, to take that game away from you, when in reality you are responsible for your own actions in the game, right? So if Monk goes up and I could throw out so many examples, man. You are responsible for your own actions. Like in MMA, you do not let the judges, you don't give the fight to the judges. You don't give the game to the refs, and you don't give them that power, because by you giving them that power, you're taking your abilities out from yourself and from your other teammates. So therefore, mentally, you're no longer there, because you're like, oh, can I take this shot? Can I drive? Can I do this? Can I do that? Is he going to call me for it? You're worrying about so much about if the refs are going to do this, that, and the other. You're losing the ability to focus on your own game and on their own game plan. Real quick, one last thing. As far as Kevin O'Connor is concerned, the boys in the midday, man, that boy Alan Stiles, he came out and dropped some numbers. So his tweets, when he's not talking about the Kings, barely get 1,000 likes. They got 15 likes, whatever. Every time he mentions the Kings, though, his numbers get jacked up. So he knows what Kevin O'Connor knows what he's doing. Okay, he is doing it on. I feel like he's doing it on purpose, just to kind of get under our skin a little bit. You know what I mean? He's playing a game. All right, man. I'll let you
All
guys
right, appreciate
go.
it.
I appreciate you, boys.
All right,
Thank
now.
you, Steven. Yeah, appreciate that. The first part he said that should be like on a cat poster or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can only control what you can control.
Right.
Gotcha, Steven. True.
No, but to Steven's
players get
point, Whitey.
frustrated. The players get really frustrated too because they wonder why aren't we playing better? And then you get mad at the officials.
Well, and to your point earlier, and to what Steven is saying, all right, the officials, you're going to call it like this or not call it. All right, now I need to adjust.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how we're playing the game? All right, then I'm going to adjust instead of letting it really seep into you and take you out of what you're trying to do.
And it's the reality, right?
Yeah.
The Celtics are going to get some calls that you're not going to get right now. I think we saw a little bit of that. I'm not saying
a little bit of that.
It didn't have anything to do with the outcome, but I think we saw it a little bit here.
But you know as well as I do, the old saying is the more physical team gets the whistle.
That's true.
You know? And, the Celtics force the action, force the whistle.
The aggressor.
Yeah, the aggressor. So.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here because coming up, Ian Eagle, he's from, of course, NFL and CBS. He's a TV voice of the Nets, but he had the 49ers last week. So we're going to catch up with Ian Eagle on where the 49ers are. And being an NBA guy, maybe he has a few things to say that'll make us feel better about the Kings, too. I don't know. Right back with Ian Eagle here. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
It's the season of performance event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85 or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
All right, we know Kyle Draper, like a lot of us right now, maybe feeling a little bit weary of talking about what happened with the Kings. We'll just take a little break. We'll be back to it, of course.
Okay.
Take a little bit of a break. Nice enough to join us. NFL on CBS, outstanding, one of the best announcers in the NFL, and a great basketball announcer, too. Of course, he's a TV voice of the Nets. He had the call for the 49ers and the Cardinals last week. Ian Eagle joins us. Ian, how are you today, sir?
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing?
We're doing okay,
Great.
but we really could use your help here because the Kings were demolished by Boston. And before we talk about the 49ers, do you have anything nice you could say about the Kings that might make us feel even a little bit better about ourselves and about things in general?
I'm still bullish on the Kings. I still like the Kings, even if I wasn't set up for this to try to make you feel better. I would have told you that I still like your squad. They're a very affable team. Can you take that away from this? Say we're affable.
I don't know.
That's going to be okay.
Hey, we're desperate right now, Ian. We'll take anything we could get right now
Yeah.
after last night.
Yeah. Checking the analytics, we're number one in the league in
Affability, right?
Affability.
Yeah.
That's a category. Obviously, the Nets got their doors blown off last night by the Knicks, so there's a similar vibe right now when you think one thing and then reality hits you in the face like, oh, wait, that's not what I thought was maybe going to happen. So the thing about the NBA, you guys know you live it day in and day out. You get another game right around the corner. They just keep coming at you left and right. So you get a chance to redeem yourself.
And we'll get to the Niners and NFL in a minute, but sticking with the NBA, you've obviously covered the NBA and called games for a while now. I look at the parity in the league this year, and if I'm Adam Silver, You got to love it. I don't know who's going to represent which conference in the NBA Finals. The West is a crapshoot. Speak to the parity that we see. One day it's the Kings looking like world beaters. The next, they look like a play-in team. The Pelicans we've seen be great. Minnesota. Speak to the parity we see in the league right now.
Yeah, I think it's been a big metamorphosis for this league because when the Warriors were winning championships, that was coming off a stretch where you were seeing teams that weren't necessarily repeating, but it was the same rotation of teams that were popping up. Wherever LeBron was playing, they were going to be a contender, whether it was Miami or Cleveland. Obviously, Golden State went on the run. And I think now we're in a different iteration of the NBA where you can't just write teams in anymore. This play-in has definitely played a role in that, what Miami did last year. I did the play-in game, Miami and Atlanta. That would have been for the 7 seed in Miami. Atlanta beats them. Trae Young makes big plays down the stretch. And I just remember walking out of the arena that night thinking, okay, this might be it for Miami. This version of Miami might be over because it's just not working. Well, what do? They win their second game, so they avoid elimination. Then as the 8 seed, they advance, and they keep advancing. Now, they weren't your normal 8 seed because the year before they had been the 1 seed in the East. But it just shows you that things now are a little more gray than they used to be in the NBA. And I think it's a good thing. I think similar to the NFL, which we're going to get into, you've had teams go worst to first now, year in and year out, and it gives hope to fan bases, to franchises. And it shows you that with a good GM and good decision makers and a good plan and a good culture, you can turn things around. So I'm with you 100%. I think the NBA has started to inch closer to that mentality, and I see it as much more of a positive than the old school thinking was. No, you got to have your elite teams, and then you got to have those teams that are just trying to chip away. No, you can improve. You can make a big jump in this league now.
We want the affable teams. That's what we want.
Yeah, 100%.
Ian Eagle, nice enough to join us. You recognize the voice. You had the call last week, Niners Cardinals. I'm going to ask you about a very polarizing issue in Northern California. It's been a crazy week, Ian, for Brock Purdy comparisons. We had Dante Whitner compare him to Tom Brady a couple days ago. Jerry Rice just compared him to Joe Montana. So let me just add, now I'm not going to ask you to make a comparison, but how do we separate how good Brock Purdy is from how good his system and his teammates are right now?
Look, we do these production meetings, and I've been doing them long enough now that I know for certain coaches and certain players, they have a narrative that they want to get across, and they're going to use their 10, 12 minutes with you as the broadcast crew to try to get that point out. And then I can decipher when someone is being genuine and it's real and it's coming from a truly organic place. And when you talk to Kyle Shanahan, first of all, he's brutally honest. He just doesn't beat around the bush, and I can see why with players he gets right to the point, and there's a respect level. But secondly, I just don't think he plays that game. And when you ask him the question about Brock Purdy, and his first thing that he says is, no. What's happened here is our guys have gotten better because Brock Purdy has put them in a position to get better. Not taking anything away from the star talent that they have, McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk and George Kittle. But Brock Purdy is not only playing his part, but he's elevating the offense. So once you get into that thought process, you realize this is not a guy that just got behind the wheel of a car and he's just hoping not to crash it. He's driving it with precision, and he has a really keen idea of what it is he wants to do out there. First time I met him, obviously watched him play now a number of times on TV, and really impressed with Brock and how he carries himself, the confidence. There is kind of a silent swag there. That's all real. That's legitimate. And I've talked to every quarterback that you can name that's been a star in the NFL over the last 27 years. There's a certain presence that comes along with having that responsibility. And I believe it. I think he has a really good handle on what he's doing and how to do this job well. So I'm not in the camp that says, no, it's one of those positions you could pop anyone in and the 49ers would be fine. That to me is so far from the truth right now.
They're all looking right at me as you say that because, for the last 4 months, I've said I need to see Brock before we compare him to Montana, Brady, all these luminaries, all these great players. I need to see it when it matters the most in January and February. And until then, I'm a reserve, handing him a bust in Canton until I see that. With that being said, when you look at what he's doing, we know the Tom Brady story, but this is even more far-fetched than Tom Brady. Like, this is something you just don't see in the NFL. How much do you think that because we haven't seen this before at this elite level this early, because even when we talk about Tom Brady, he didn't have the numbers that Brock Purdy's putting up when Brady first started out. How much do you think that weighs into people's perception of him, people's criticism of him?
Yeah, you know what I've really noticed, guys, through the years, both NBA and NFL, and obviously those are the two sports that I've done the most of over the last nearly 30 years. Where you're drafted does play a large role in perception for the good and the bad of the player. If you're a really high draft pick in the NBA and you're not a quote unquote star by year 2, year 3, you're often dismissed and you're pushed to the side, and you can then reinvent yourself and sign with a different team and then maybe surprise some people. And in year 5 or 6, you blossom and people come back around and say, no, I always knew it. I knew he had talent, but they were knocking him in year 1, year 2, year 3. And it's based on so many things. It's based on circumstance and playing time and the team you're drafted to and what's going on with that franchise at that point. And then the flip side of that, I mean, obviously, if you're a second round pick and you start to really stand out, let's take a Jokic as an example, there are more doubters because he wasn't the household name. He wasn't the can't miss star that everybody assumed he was going to be. He's surprising people, even in year 2, 3, 4, 5. He's winning multiple MVPs, and there's still people that say, I don't buy it. I don't see it. I don't think he's the guy. So in the NFL, look, I remember this vividly. I had what turned out to be Brady's second start, but there was more fanfare because it was becoming obvious Bledsoe was not coming back. It happened to be the game that Doug Flutie was coming back to the New England area, Boston's favorite son. It was the Chargers and the Patriots. And you can look back on the game. It's my 4th year doing the NFL. It's Brady's 2nd year in the league. He didn't get a sniff his rookie year. He gets forced in there because of the Bledsoe injury. And he didn't do anything overtly dynamic in the game, but they won the game. They came back to win it. And it ruined Flutie's homecoming, and it kept this hope alive in New England that maybe they had something with Brady. They ended up going into Indianapolis, whether it was the next week or 2 weeks later, and then put up 41 points, and people started saying, wait a second, they've got something. There's something there with this guy. And the legend of Tom Brady then grew. They win the Super Bowl, and then we know what happened after that. But when he came into the meeting room that day, I knew very little about him, had seen him, maybe a game or two at Michigan, knew that he was going to be a bench warmer, but got pushed into starting duty. And I must say, I was blown away. I was impressed with how sharp he was, what a keen handle he had on things. And I did walk away from that thinking, man, maybe this guy has something. And that's something about that position. There's a presence and a command. And I do think Brock Purdy just has this very quiet confidence. And what ends up happening, guys, and I get it, when scouts whiff to that degree, it takes a long time to convince people that they were wrong about it. And most people don't like to admit that they're wrong, scouts included, and GMs and talent evaluators. So I think that's part of the process here with Purdy. But all he's doing is going out and winning and putting up big numbers.
Ian Eagle 9. We appreciate your time very much. Before we let you go, I got to point out here, you're so modest. You sold yourself short a little bit there. A minute ago, you said you do basketball and NFL, but I know for a fact that you are the former host of Baseball and Bagels. So you've done
No. Clearly not that popular because it was bagels and baseball. We led with bagels as the main course.
Oh my
Baseball was the second part.
Oh, now I'm embarrassed. I apologize. Thank you very much for your time. Big fan. Always appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We hope to talk to you again soon.
What a promo for that, though. I'm going to go back, and I think I'm just going to form a podcast, Bagels and Baseball. See if people really latch onto it. They want to schmear. All right, see you guys.
All right,
Thank you.
take care, man.
That was apparently like the first show he ever did because he started as a producer somewhere.
Yeah.
Back east, at a radio station, TV station. Then after a while, he did his thing, and then, all right, you can do your own show for an hour, and it was Bagels and Baseball.
Oh my
was his
gosh.
first show. Yeah, and I'll bet you it was funny,
Right,
too.
I'm sure it was. And like he said, he was leading with the bagels. Yeah. That was the initial talk. That's what they're talking about first. That's funny.
When we come back, Mike Brown says the solution to the Kings blowout blues lies within. Next, Drive Guys Sacktown Sports.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Get 10% off select concrete mix when you buy 1 pallet or more. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At Jim Boy's Tacos, you get a lot of flavor for under $10. Our classic #2 combo meal spreads cheer with a farm-dusted ground beef taco, scratch-made bean and cheese burrito, and a soft drink. So jingle on down to Jim Boy's or order online at participating locations.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Christmas is in the air at Hanley's Kia. The season of giving back is bringing you an unbeatable deal on all 2024 Kia models. Drive home in style without breaking the bank. Introducing Hanley's Kia incredible leasing option for just $199 a month. Picture yourself behind the wheel of a brand new 2024 Kia, loaded with the latest features and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's the sleek Niro Hybrid with 54 mpg, an EV6 with up to 310 miles, the versatile Sportage, or the family-friendly Telluride. At Hanley's Kia, you can also reserve your luxurious full-size EV9 with 3 rows that has the comfort of a stylish interior and the peace of mind that comes with driving a brand you can trust. Head over to Hanley's Kia, the season of giving back today, located in Davis.
New 2024 Kia Niro Hybrid EX for $199 per month for 36 months after $7,999 customer cash due at signing plus $300 military customer rebate. 10,000 miles per year and 20 cents per mile after 30,000 miles based on sale price $30,545 and payment excludes taxes and DMV fees and any dealer fees. Vehicle ID number R5136138.
It's credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop.
Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
At American Energy, their #1 priority is making sure you and your family are comfortable in your home for the holidays. And that's why they're giving away a free whole home HVAC system to one lucky family in the greater Sacramento area. Now, if you or you know a family in need of being comfortable this winter, enter for your chance to win the American Energy Comfort Giveaway by going to the AEWay.com today. You could win a free whole home HVAC system. American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. For official contest rules, go to the AEWay.com.
Amazon will be delivering packages to your house. Let Amazon deliver customers to your business. If that sounds good and you want more in 2024, simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
I'm going to just try to observe this dispassionately, at first anyway, as we discuss what's going on here, because I want people to feel like it's okay to express their opinions. There are a lot of people today, we're hearing from some calls, also on the chat, people that are upset with your coach of the Kings, your coach of the year, Mike Brown. Now that happens.
No, that happens.
It happens.
Well, you know, it's so funny, and this is what's interesting. The Monday morning quarterbacking, everybody knows more than the coach. And if I was Mike Brown, I would have done this. Like these guys. First of all, you can't tell me Mike Brown didn't tell his team we got to take away the 3 yesterday. And so, whatever the coach said, it's on the players to execute when they get out there on the floor. Now, Mike Brown took some heat yesterday. He said he got out-coached by Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, he said that.
He said that, but he's taking one for the team. I do think, and we had this discussion in our first segment this hour, I would have liked to see JaVale McGee a little more, maybe a little earlier. At least he showed some life.
You may now. I mean, he's one of those guys I think who took advantage of the garbage time or whatever.
Right, exactly. And so I'm not going to blame Mike Brown. Was he perfect last night? No. And ultimately, it's on the coach to get the players to do what he needs them to do. But that's what fans are going to do, man. It's sort of like the box score mentality. All right, day after we lost, got to be the coach's fault. Got to be Harrison Barnes' fault. Got to be Kevin Herter's fault. Like
I'm keeping my box
everybody,
because Drapes likes to take people's box scores. TV, you asked for somebody's box score. Somebody came by and you said, "Give me that," but they didn't even want to give it to you. Give me that. Then you took the box score and you tore it up.
Can we play that?
Why
sound?
did you ask for it if you were going to tear it up?
Simone's getting the sound from last night. Let me know when it's ready, Simone, because I need people to understand the frustration that we feel as fans and broadcasters. When I'm doing play-by-play, I can't do that. When I'm doing play-by-play, I'm talking during the game, trying to describe the action, all that. But post-game is about reacting.
Sure.
Post-game is about sort of being a fan as well. And so this is how I started yesterday's post-game show on NBC Sports California.
It's almost there. Almost there.
The Sacramento Kings pay me handsomely. NBC Sports California pays me handsomely. But on this night, I don't want to do this show. There is nothing to talk about after what we just saw here. This is the worst loss of the season, and I'm upset. I'm frustrated. She got the box score right here. You got to give me the box score. You know what? I don't need the stinking box score. Dudes. What happened out there tonight is unacceptable. Give the Celtics credit. They put their hard hats on. They won the game. But our guys got to be better, Deuce. We got to be better out here. What happened?
Poor Deuce. Yeah. No, and the poor person with the box score.
No, it was
give me the box score.
It was
and then you go, I don't need it. Why did you ask for it?
I don't need this thing. No, because it was the woman that brings us the box score. You know, after every game, they deliver the box score. So she's sitting there waiting until we go off camera so she can bring it in. And I'm like, no, give it up. And I wanted to illustrate the point. You know how it is, Whitey. It doesn't matter in plus minus. It doesn't matter what De'Aaron Fox did. It doesn't matter what Kevin Herter. What we saw out there last night, I don't care what the box score says. The box score could show Malik Monk scored 70 points. It doesn't matter to me. You lose 144 119. I don't care what the box score says.
Does the box score say just how handsomely you are paid by the Sacramento Kings?
That's the bank account. That's the bank account, big fella. Yeah. But no, we had Scal on yesterday on our show. And, same thing. After one game, Celtics playoff game, he's like, well, Kevin Garnett had 15 rebounds. Dude, who cares? You lost by 20. Stats are for losers. And so let's not rely on a crutch and say, oh, well, this guy played well, this guy didn't, just by looking at the box score. At the end of the day, what we saw out there, nobody should be happy with their performance last night.
You know what's cool about Scal? And I just met him yesterday. I talked to him before, but I'd never met him. So it's the first time I met him, and we're sitting right there, and you could maybe see this on YouTube. And I asked him a question, and he looks me right in the eye. He's listening. He's
on
like listening to every word I say.
Yes.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah. And most of the time, at least this is how I feel, he's listening intently so he can disagree with whatever you're saying. Like he's looking for something.
Sure.
All right, you said this, but that's how it used to be
looking
anyway.
At your defense,
right.
You're talking.
Exactly. Yeah. He's looking at you that way, and so. Man, that was tough to swallow. I had friends in the building, former coworkers. Everybody's hyping up our team, and then to lay an egg like that.
It's not about you, but I won't go there.
It's always about me, man. Who else would it be about for me? I'm concerned about me.
There's a lot of other fans have felt that way. Speaking of Mike Brown here, CK916. Mike Brown keeps referring to these bad losses as old-fashioned butt kickings. Can't really call something old-fashioned when it's happened once a week. Maybe it should be a new era butt kicking, which is an interesting point.
That hurts.
Drape's disappointed. You're disappointed. Here's Mike Brown at practice today. Not after the game last night, but at practice today. We're talking about practice. Here's what Mike Brown had to say today about the disappointment of last night.
Anytime you're trying to take that step, the funnest way to learn is when you win. But the reality of it is the best way to learn is to experience heartbreak, failure, however you want to call it. And so you can take that moment and really feel how it, or really see how it feels to not accomplish a goal that you think that you should attain. Not only that, it also allows you to see how hard it is. And every moment that you have an opportunity to do something great, if you just rest or think that these 5 minutes or these 20 seconds aren't insignificant, it'll come back to bite you in the behind. And so going through that at times can be painstakingly tough, but sometimes necessary.
That's a coach after tough loss. He's had time to think about it, realizes, well, I got to try to find something positive out of it. And that's about the best he could do with that loss that bitter.
Yeah. And, I agree with what he said, because when you want to be a championship team, you can't lose focus even just for 5 minutes, because what happens is you got to remember there are NBA players on the other side as well. And I keep going back to that Pelicans game because it was a repeat of what happened in that game. You come out, you're fired up, you're playing well offensively, you're knocking down threes, you're like, ho, it's going to be a nice night. Meanwhile, that other team on the other end, they're hungry. The Celtics were hungry after getting beat by the Warriors. The Celtics were hungry because I guarantee you Joe Mazzulla, when Jason Tatum wasn't going to play, said, you know what? They think we're not the Celtics, even though without Jason Tatum. I guarantee you, Peyton Pritchard said, ooh, no Tatum. It's going to be my night. All those guys came out hungry, and to Mike Brown's point, when you're a championship level team, and it happens, teams get blown out all the time. But Sacramento, we've had a number of blowouts. And what's concerning to me is that the team hasn't learned. They lose the focus. They allow the team to get off and run and get the confidence. And then we can never put it back in the cookie jar. We can never, really bring it back. And we talked earlier, run stopper. We can't stop runs.
Right.
It's like once the team gets going, it's a wrap.
Yeah. It gets down again to the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you're behind. How are you going to catch up? Well, occasionally you have to stop them. And they're just not capable of doing it against a team. You made the point. Obviously, it's true that Boston wasn't at full strength, but whoever they had last night, the way they were playing, that team, the Kings, could not stop. They could not stop that team when they needed to. And that thing tilted in Boston's direction and just snowballed, and the Kings had no shot once it went the other way.
And I've seen it time and time again, especially with this Celtics team. I don't want to say they're front runners as a team, but Peyton Pritchard, when he gets a few going, it's hard he can shoot the ball.
He's a good shooter,
he can get going. And so when guys get comfortable, when Derek White gets comfortable, when Peyton Pritchard gets comfortable, well, then they're NBA players too. Like De'Aaron Fox in that first half, when he felt comfortable pulling up from the logo, it's hard to turn those guys off. And so what you got to do if you're Sacramento is you can't allow these guys to get comfortable. And that's what we did, I thought, in that first half. We were playing a glorified pickup game, a glorified scrimmage. Defense was optional out there. And then Peyton Pritchard and company, they had confidence, and it was a wrap after that.
If you looked at the numbers the Kings put up in that first quarter, how well they shot the ball, and they were up 3. It was one of those quarters like, wow, they played great. Ooh,
right.
They should be up more than 3. That's a bad sign.
Exactly. You know? That was it was like as great as they played.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox was hitting 6-3, everything was cooking. But at the end of the day, if you're Boston, you're like, oh shoot, it's only a 3-point game. And De'Aaron Fox hit 5 threes or whatever. They hit 11 threes in the first quarter, and we're only down 3. We're good.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last night.
When we come back, this is what alarmed me the most. This is what is unacceptable about the Kings' loss last night. When we come right back, Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sacktown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sacktown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Get 10% off select concrete mix when you buy 1 pallet or more. And there's more. Get 15% off select primed finger joint boards when you buy 10 or more. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
O'Reilly.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts Holiday Gift Guide is here. If you're struggling with gift ideas, we have several options for gifts under $20, like a digital tire gauge, screwdriver sets, LED work lights, and more. Our professional parts people will help you pick out the perfect gift for that hard-to-buy-for person. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Risa, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine. Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
It ignites something inside of you. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
May not seem like the greatest day for Kings Talk after last night, but, maybe it's a good opportunity for us to take an honest look at where this thing is right now. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You mentioned earlier that you couldn't see any positives, which I totally understand and respect. I've been trying. I think I've come up with a few, and I'm not in any way suggesting that they outshine the things that went wrong last night. But I've really been working to find a couple things that I think were positives. Before we get to that, I want to mention the one thing about last night that to me is truly, it's like, that can't happen. That can't happen. Before we get to that, first, let's go to Paul here, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Hey, Paul, you're on the Drive Guys. What's up?
Oh, man. How y'all doing today?
Good. What's up, man? Hanging in. How about you?
Another day in paradise. The bottom line here is this, and I talked to Drapes the other day. I was at the King store the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this is the bottom line. We are a good team, but we're not a great team. And that's the reality, okay? They need to make a move because this is going to continue to happen. And I've been a Kings fan a long, long, long time. I've been, oh my gosh, my first game was at Lukenbill's old place he had before Arco Arena. Okay, so I've been a fan a long, long time. The bottom line is they have to make a move. Sabonis is too small. We're not going to get rid of Sabonis. He's going to be a 4. He's the true 4.
All right,
we all know this.
I'm not going to cut you off here, but I remember chatting you up, chopping it up with you in the team store. Who we going to get, though? Who's the answer?
So the answer is this, okay? You have to have – this is what you have to have, Drapes. You have to have people that can, on a consistent basis, come out, play their ass off every night. We're not getting that from about 3 different players. I'm not going to say their names. We all know who they are, okay? We need to compete, and the only way we're going to do that, Monty McNair needs to figure this out. He's got the tools. He's got the cash. He's got the trades. He's got the first-round draft picks. Figure it out. They can do this.
All right, Paul. We appreciate your comments, and that's nice. So you had a little conversation with Paul at the team store.
Yeah, Paul was fired up, and
You were buying me and Simone some stuff. from the
It's
team
not
store.
Christmas yet. Calm down. We got a couple more days, big fella.
Okay.
I got you. Darn it. Now I got to go back to the team store and get you guys something. Darn it.
The only thing that comforts me about all that stuff about Monty, you know that if we sit here and we recognize the flaws in the team,
Yes.
you know Monty
Yes.
has been like, hello?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I've known that. But it's a matter of what's available, when it's available, when is the right time to strike. And then we're going to, be facing that at the deadline. Or do they have to do something now? Is that when you have to do something,
Right.
even though it may be expensive? Or do you wait until the offseason, which I know would be very unpopular? It's possible when push comes to shove, Monty will have to make the decision that, you know what, it'd be more prudent to wait. We all hope that they are able to do something at the deadline, but we'll see.
I've thought about this a lot over the last 24 hours.
And those guys, by the way, that Paul says, you need the guys to play their ass off every night. Those guys aren't readily available.
Right. And you see, I asked him to give me some names.
Yeah. Name
He
'em.
give me a name.
Yeah.
He
Name
didn't
'em.
say, go get this
You
guy,
have a
this
lot
guy,
of
this
guys that
guy.
are looking for jobs right now.
Yeah, but one thing I thought about a lot recently, guys, is if you're Monty McNair, we talked about the patient approach. Rome wasn't built in a day. Look at the Denver Nuggets. It took them a while. It took them time to grow. Even Michael Jordan, it took him a while. Like all these teams, I agree 100% with that. But you can't tell me the fan base at that time didn't say, come on, guys. Like, and I would argue, because I don't think fans are upset with losing, the losses. It's the way we're losing that's so frustrating. If we would have lost by 2 to Boston yesterday, we're having an entirely different conversation
We'd be
today.
upset, but
we'd be upset. Yeah, oh man, we got to have that game. But it's the way we're losing that's really upsetting people. And that's the roller coaster that we talk about. You have great wins. Keegan Murray, 47, you're extremely high. And then you get a gut punch like last night. I mean, let's keep it real. Kings fans, it's hard right now because you never know what teams you're going to get. On 1 minute, we look like, you know what, we're a Western Conference Finals team. The next minute, I don't want to see the Pelicans in a play-in tournament. Like it's just, it's like I don't know who we are. This is so up and down roller coaster, topsy-turvy this season. We still got 2/3 of it left.
Last year, at least we knew who the team was.
Yeah.
Great offensive team, working on it defensively. This year, well, I thought they were this, and then the next game they weren't. And you know that's, they're going through that too. But real quick, to me, the one thing about last night, totally unacceptable. And I know you're not a fan of box scores all the time, so I'm hanging on to this
You're
tight.
picking it up.
Yeah,
You're picking
you
it
ain't
up.
getting this from me. But we saw this. It's reflected to the box score. We all saw it. We know that the Kings like to get out and run, right?
Yeah.
They like to play at pace.
That's what they say.
Boston does too, to a degree, but they played the night before. The fact that that team shorthanded that had played the night before beat the Kings in fast break points last night 30-6 is unacceptable. That cannot happen. Am I right? That cannot happen.
1,000,000,000%. That to me is the most alarming stat on that sheet, because you couple that, and I said it earlier, how many turnovers did Sacramento have last night, Whitey?
They did not have many. That's 7.
So usually if a team gets out in a fast break, it's live ball turnovers.
Right, you're throwing it all over the place.
That didn't happen last night. They were getting fast breaks off missed shots, inbounds. They were just out hustling you.
Right.
Guys weren't getting back. That's what, so if you want a box score watch, and I'm going to do it in this case, that's what the box score shows me right there. 30 fast break points, 7 turnovers, and then you only got 6 yourself.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
Right.
30 fast break points against anybody. Like, that got to be a season high, I would imagine, for a Kings opponent or something like that. That's crazy.
If it were the other way around and the Kings were the team playing the second game of the back-to-back, we would look at that and go, not to make excuses, but you can see how maybe.
Right.
But the team that played the night before to do it is like, what? Did they only have like 3 guys on defense? What? It's mind-boggling.
And the problem too, Whitey, is if we didn't have the Houstons, the Clippers, those kind of games, what happened last night, we can overlook, forgive. You know what? It sucks. It was just one of those nights. But coupled with all those other losses, this is a problem right now. And I said it earlier, if I'm Monty McNair and Mike Brown, you got to nip this in the bud right now, because you don't want to wake up in March and April and still be riding this roller coaster. You need to know what team you're going to have out there night in and night out. And I'm afraid if I'm Mike Brown, I don't know who's going to show up on a given night. I know Fox is going to play well. Sabonis is going to play well. Keegan's going to do his thing. I even think Malik Monk is going to bring it. But outside of that, I don't know who's going to show up for me.
I don't know how you address that. I agree with you. Nip it in the bud. But how? When we come back, 25-point loss, is it a play on or a sign that things really ain't where they need to be for the Kings? And as promised, I have found a couple of positives from maybe only one or two, but a couple of
it's
positives.
In the box score or no? Because I burned that box score last night.
It's not really box score specific, no. But we'll have those for you. Also, the great Jerry Reynolds is going to join us bottom of the next hour as well here. It's the Drive Guys rolling on Sacktown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Do you have a game plan for COVID-19? Prescription oral treatments must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms, even if mild. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Do you have a game plan for COVID-19? Prescription oral treatments must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms, even if mild. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper. Now, if you've been on the fence about buying your first electric luxury car, then go see my good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's love at first drive. Heck, for me, it was love at first sight. My new Mercedes-Benz EQ is out there in the parking lot right now. So you can go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Drive one of these? I dare you. It's a Drapes challenge. Just 45 minutes from Sacramento, right off of I-5 or online at mbofstockton.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTK AM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports. The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
We're still sifting through the wreckage of last night's Kings defeat here. Gleason, Draper. Before we get back to the Kings, I'm just wondering if Ian Eagle, who joined us a little after 3, did he finally convince you on Brock Purdy when he said he talked to Kyle Shanahan? And Kyle Shanahan explained to Ian Eagle that Brock Purdy is elevating the players around him. He isn't just sitting back and benefiting from them playing as well as they're playing. He is elevating them. That's Kyle Shanahan saying that. So you're convinced now, right?
I'm convinced. Yep. I'm all in on it. I'm convinced. Look at you.
He's too tired to fight.
I spend my whole life arguing and fighting and debating. I know I'm going to lose this one when it comes to Brock Purdy. But it won't be all said and done, not just with an MVP. It has to be a Super Bowl. That's when you'll shut Drapes up about Brock Purdy. That's when you got me.
To me, the MVP doesn't even matter. It's the Super Bowl.
But let me ask you this. Is it the Super Bowl and he's Trent Dilfer?
No.
Or is it Super Bowl and he's Patrick Mahomes? Like,
you can't compare him to Trent Dilfer.
And you can't compare him to Patrick Mahomes either.
I didn't.
Okay. But we can compare him to Tom Brady and Joe Montana.
Did I do that? I did say he reminded me of Joe Montana.
You did say that.
I stand by that. He reminded me of that. But
one thing Ian did say, and he said, Brock Purdy, it's not like you could just plug anybody in. And I disagree with that, but he's objective. He's on the outside looking in. So,
that's right,
and I respect Ian. So
that's right. You said you wanted somebody who was objective.
Exactly.
So
where's my guy Everson Walls at? I keep bringing that. If we're going to compare him to Joe Montana, get somebody that actually played against Joe Montana.
When they had the Super Bowl in San Francisco, was that the Panthers and the Broncos a few years ago?
Yeah.
And we did some shows from San Francisco, and Everson Walls was making the rounds, and it's kind of, because he's part of San Francisco football history, and he's a really good sport about it. But I think, wasn't he like at one point, I think he was like, hey, everyone's making all this money on this Dwight Clark poster. Well, I'm in it. And which he was.
Yeah.
But, he's like, I should get some money for that.
I wonder, too, if he goes to like card shows and, appearances and people are like, Everson, can you sign this for me or something?
Yeah.
Like, or does he turn it down? Like, no, that play, I still have nightmares about it. It'd be interesting. Yeah. Somebody got to track him down. Everson Walls. Back in the day.
We'll put him on the list. Very good guy. I mean, great guy. Great, wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. Had a good sport about all that stuff. Hard for Kings fans to be good sports about what happened last night. Here are my positives, all right? And this is a desperate
I want to
attempt.
hear this.
This is a desperate attempt to find anything positive. Please understand, it is not an effort to say, it's fine. Last night's fine because of these things. All right, I'm not trying to say that. I got, Keon Ellis had a good game. He had a really good game.
He got technical too, didn't he?
Again?
It technical fouls, individual. Oh no, it was Domas who got that technical in the first.
Yeah, it was Saturday. Keon got run.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. I was thinking about. Yeah, he had a good game. Okay.
Yeah. He had 12 points. Trey Lyles is playing well off the bench. I think it's getting to the point where Trey Lyles now is one of the few guys coming off the bench where you know what you're going to get from him.
I think so. He's in your night in and night out rotation, top 7 guy. Him and Malik are your top 7 right there. Those top 2 off the bench for sure. Trey's always played. Trey, I don't know if there's been a game where we've sat here and said, man, where was Trey at that game? Like, how, I feel like he always delivers. Sometimes he only plays 15, 16, 17 minutes. Last night, 26 and change. And, maybe it's time for him to get more minutes.
Maybe, yeah. He was 11-5 last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, JaVale, I think we talked about that. JaVale looked like he wanted to show everybody that he's not happy about not playing, and he did what you need to do about that. You could also say Kessler Edwards did some nice things, but that's about it. That's about all I got. De'Aaron Fox had a really good first quarter. We know that, but ultimately it didn't matter.
That's probably more shocking than anything last night is the disappearance of De'Aaron Fox. Whether he wasn't being aggressive, whether the Celtics took him out of everything, took him away, whether they didn't, run plays, whatever it is. Not only did De'Aaron Fox only score 3 points in the second half, he only took 2 shots. And a lot of times you hear coaches say, I need to go back and look at the film. I need to go back and look at the film of that game to figure out what happened in that second half with De'Aaron Fox.
Mike Brown was asked about it after the game. And, coaches are human and they don't always know the answers right away.
Right.
But they can't say that.
Right.
So I'm not sure how much of this was really he noticed this or he was kind of guessing, because he said he thought that Boston just did a really good job in the second half of packing the paint. So, no penetration. So everything had to be from the outside. So I don't know. But De'Aaron Fox was just having his way with the Celtics. As we said earlier, first quarter, he's great. First half, he's great.
Right.
And you look up end of the first quarter and they're only up 3. That wasn't good. So was this a play on like, hey, it happens, like Mike Brown's saying today, these things happen, you learn from it? Or is it a sign that the Kings are not where they should be right now?
Yeah. That's – can it be both? Play on,
sure.
You know what?
Yeah,
this happens in the NBA.
You got to play on. No matter
you
what.
got to play on, but it's clear. I mean, I think we knew they weren't championship level yet, but we thought at least the blowouts were in the past. Like if you lose to Boston, okay, I can see that happening. But to get run out of your own building, I think that's what we didn't know, or like, how did that happen? I'm still trying to figure it out. No Tatum, no Al, and we get run out as great as we've been playing lately. OKC, Utah, Washington, like the team was confident. They had some swagger, and it was wiped away quickly, Whitey. 8 minutes into the first quarter, it was zapped. And it's like, can this team really flip like that? I just don't get it. 916-339-1140. I want to hear from you about that. Like, how can it's sort of, you know what it reminds me of? You remember Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was ferocious. Yeah. Was that Mike? Oh my gosh. Please stick to your day job. But Mike Tyson was ferocious. He struck fear in everybody when he entered the ring. He knocked guys out. But as soon as somebody punched him, soon as Buster actually extended him, punched him in the mouth, hurt him a little bit, he collapsed. Like he had no counter. He didn't know what to do after. That's sort of what it feels like with Sacramento. It's like as soon as Boston punched us, as soon as they cut off our threes, it was like, uh-oh, what do we do now? And we were in shell shock for 2.5 quarters.
The thing that concerns me is that the Kings, when they get blown out, it looks like they are unable to play with physicality and force. And when it looks like that repeatedly, I start to wonder, is it that these guys don't bring the right attitude? And I'm not around them as much as you are, but I'm around them and I see them. I don't get that sense, which makes me think sometimes this group, as a group, they're just not capable of playing at that physical a level. If that's true, against teams that's their forte, that's their calling.
They could do it against Washington.
Yes.
Like I thought against Washington, they were super physical. Like they pushed the Wizards around. It's easy to push them around. Not necessarily the Celtics. And we're talking about being a contender, right?
Yes.
And so, I go back to what I said earlier about the defensive rating. I don't want to hear, and I know we're going to bring it up at some point during the season, Whitey, but when I look at the Kings defensive rating, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I want to look at the defensive rating against the best of the best. It's great to have a defensive rating, a good defensive rating against Utah, against San Antonio. But what about Boston? What about Denver? What about Minnesota, Phoenix? Like, that's where I want to see the defense and the pushback and everything. Like, don't show it to me against Washington.
Right.
You know?
Although I have to say, if I'm not mistaken, I think their defensive rating, which you want it to go down, right? Down is better. I think with Washington,
it went the other way. Yeah. They gave it 131 or whatever it was to Washington.
Derek joins us here, Sacktown Sports. Derek, you are on with the Drive Guys. Hello, what's up?
Hey, fellas. That was a game last night. I'm only going to leave it at that. Where we go moving forward, my problem with this team right now, I was listening to you guys a couple days ago. You're talking about, could you get another asset? Tell me I'm wrong. I feel like the only tradable assets we're willing to give up is Trey Lyles that have value or Malik Monk, and we don't want to give up either. And that's my problem with this team right now, because you're not going to give up on Keegan Murray. So what else is actually valuable on this team to try and get them to that next level?
Great question. That's a great question because we talk about the assets, right? Yeah. What are our most valuable assets? Probably the draft picks, right?
Keegan and draft picks.
And I would argue that no draft pick is safe. Like, I'm not holding on, the draft in 2027 is going to be great. No. If I'm Monty McNair, tell me what you want draft. Of course, you're going to put some protections and things like that. But getting a star player or somebody that can help you move closer to a championship, hopefully draft picks won't stand in the way of that or, wanting to hold on to them. Because we're not going to be in the lottery anymore. They aren't going to have as much value as they used to have.
I was having this discussion last night before the game with John Dickinson. We were talking about what players on the Kings have some trade value. And, Keegan's the only guy that a team would like, oh, we want him, let's talk, right?
Right.
So you'd have to be pieces. Trey Lyles, would he have some trade value? Yeah, probably. Would Vezenkov have some trade value? I think he'd have some. Would Davion have any at this point? Would Davion Mitchell have any trade value? I could see a team saying, you know what? He was a really good player in college. He needs a fresh start. There's nobody other than Keegan that a team's really going to bend over backwards to get, but you do have some guys.
Yeah.
Harrison, right? Not that we want to get rid of him, but he would have some trade value.
Yeah, and, when I look at, remember, Harrison Barnes a couple of years ago, the Celtics wanted Harrison Barnes. There were trade rumors involving Harrison Barnes going to the Celtics. They coveted him a couple of years ago. And, I wanted Marcus Smart on this team because they were sort of dangling Marcus Smart. Eventually, they traded him to Memphis. And so I don't know what the value is for an HB right now, a Kevin Huerter right now, a Davion right now. And I don't know if the package is out there that's even worth it. We keep talking about Siakam, OG, everything like that. Is that really realistic for us right now?
I don't think it makes sense.
At this point.
I don't think it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. And I know if it comes to that, the deadline, and the Kings do nothing because they look at that and say it's not worth it, there are going to be some fans who'll be very upset. What are they doing? But there's no reason to rush into a bad move.
But do they have to do something, Whitey?
If they're going to be...
If Monty McNair stands pat, is it still in Monty we trust?
Yeah, but it's also in the second round we don't get to.
Yeah, right.
I mean, really? You might, but, if you don't add significantly to this roster, and maybe it's prudent not to, but you can't expect to get much further than maybe the second round, I don't think. Honestly.
And that's okay this year, though, right?
Could be.
Because we're taking steps. And I thought about this while driving in. Despite what happened last night, the goal and my belief in this team still remains. They could get it to the second round of the NBA playoffs. That hasn't changed despite laying an egg last night. They're still the same team. They have the same upside. It's just now their floor is a lot lower than I expected.
Would you agree with me that the Kings so far are not a lot better than they were last year? The record may be...
Right, the record's better.
Yeah.
I think their best is better than what it was last year. Like, when at their best, they're better than they were at their best last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at their worst, they're worse than they were. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. When we come back, I'll show you some numbers, some numbers that suggest if you want to improve in the NBA, as these handful of teams have this year, there's one thing you must do, and the Kings so far have not done it. That's coming up next year. Drive Guys, right back with that on Sacktown Sports.
The push for the NFC's top seed continues on Christmas as the 49ers host the Baltimore Ravens.
Purdy throws for the end zone. It is caught by Deebo Samuel. Touchdown! San Francisco! The 49ers look to extend their win streak to 7 in a row as they host Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on Christmas night. Game time at 5:15 on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
And of course, we're here for you. Thanks for participating today. Some questions from the YouTube chat. We do appreciate your participation. Mike Nussbaum. Good afternoon, fellas. Nobody talked about the coaching. I feel like we got out-coached last night also. We've talked about that, Mike. And in fact, Mike Brown said, he said, I got out-coached.
It happens. It happens. Joe Mazzulla outcoached Mike Brown.
How much of that? I think you used the term he was taking one for the team, which is interesting.
I think part of it, because I think, we can talk about Mike Brown's coaching, if you will. I think the game plan was not executed on the floor. Like the way the Kings looked and played defense last night, I know for a fact that's not what the plan was. That's not how they drew it up. And so, sure, we could blame the coach, but I guarantee you what we saw last night wasn't the coverage that the Kings had worked out.
Manny, too legit. Whitey and Drapes, why do you guys think the guys didn't really take it up a notch in the second half? Do you guys think the guys just gave up too easily and knew we wasn't going to come back, or what?
I think they get shell-shocked, man. I think when a team takes away your first option, and I don't want to say the Kings are front runners because we've seen them come back from big deficits before. Golden State, for instance. But when you look at Sacramento, they took 33 pointers in the first half, Whitey. If I'm correct, they took 14 the second half. So the Celtics took away their three-point ability, and the Kings had nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
They were sort of shell shocks. They didn't have a counterpunch. They didn't, all right, option A is taken away. What's option B, C, and D? They didn't have that. And I think we brought that up earlier in the season too. Mm-hmm. It's like when the offense, the shots aren't falling, what else can you do? Is it play through Domas down low? Well, they tried that. Porzingis did a hell of a job. Like, what is your other thing that you do other than shoot?
Mm-hmm. One of the things I'm starting to realize is that if there's a tough matchup, you're playing a team and there's a tough matchup for Domas, it's a tough matchup for the Kings, or there's a good chance they're going to have a tough night.
Yeah.
It seems that way, right? I know.
Why do you think that is? Like for instance, why is Porzingis a tough matchup?
Just the length.
Just his length.
Yeah. And I mean, you talked yesterday about the shot blocking. He blocked 6 shots.
Six shots.
He got Harrison once. He got Fox twice. He got Sabonis twice. And he got.
Oh, you marked him down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, he was a big time difference.
I think you run the offense through Domas so often that if he's really struggling, then the offense starts to bog down. Yeah.
And to your point, you brought this up earlier about switching defenses and how the Warriors, the Celtics can switch 1 through 5. They got Drew Holiday. They got Derek White.
Right.
Jaylen Brown.
Right.
Like, they can switch. Jaylen Brown can guard Keegan Murray. Drew Holiday can guard Keegan Murray. All three of those guys can guard De'Aaron Fox. And so our offense is predicated on creating open looks for our shooters. Well, when they're switching everything, which they can do, that takes away those looks. And that's what we saw last night.
Who do you think so far this year are, give me 2 or 3 if you would, just your opinion, the most surprising teams in the NBA? Teams are like, wow, I didn't know they'd be this good.
I'm going to say Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
Minnesota's probably at the top of my list right now.
I agree.
I'm also going to go with, and they've fallen a little bit, but the Orlando Magic out east, when you look at what they're doing so far. And we're talking surprising in a good way, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Surprising in a good way. And I could say OKC, we knew they'd be good, but maybe not this good.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Here's the thing. I just saw some numbers here on improvements in defense. And it's funny, there's the 5 teams that improved the most in defense this year. I think you could say, 4 of them are among the most surprising teams in the NBA this season. The Houston Rockets were 29th in defense last year. This year, they're all the way up to second.
Are they second?
110.4.
Wow.
Yeah. And they are 9th right now in the conference. And that's not great, but it's for them, given where they were. It's like they're in the play-in and the climbing.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
The Minnesota Timberwolves last year, they were 10th in defensive rating, which is,
that's
obviously
that's
top
good.
10. They're first this year.
Mm.
And they're number 1 in the West. The third most improved defensive team is the Orlando Magic.
Wow.
They were 18th last year. Right now, and a long way to go, they are third.
What?
And they're 110.2. They're fourth in the Eastern Conference. Portland's in there, but the 5th most improved team defensively is Oklahoma City. They were 13th last year. Right now they're 6th, and they're second in the conference. So most of the teams this year that I agree with you, I'm with you on all those teams that we say, wow, didn't think they'd be that good. Their improvement so far anyway has been fueled by defensive improvements. And I think the Kings were hoping for something like that this year because, they didn't go out and get a bunch of new guys.
Right.
It wasn't prudent. So they were hoping for improvement from Keegan being better, from the defense being better by virtue of the fact that they'd played together for a year. And it just hasn't happened yet.
And that's super concerning to me because all we've been hearing from Mike Brown is defense, physicality. And we sort of bought into it. Just last week, they were 13th, I think, at one point. 14th in defensive rating. But that was fool's gold, Whitey. This team's defense, it might be a hair better, shade better, but they still got the same issues. And Kevin O'Connor and all those people, they want to talk about size and rim protection and everything like that. And I agree, but it starts out front. You got to have one or the other, I guess. And so if you're getting beat off the dribble, yes, you need size. But if you had great perimeter defenders, you wouldn't need as much size. You didn't need Rudy Gobert back there.
Right.
And so we may talk about Pascal and OG, but maybe you just need some better defenders.
Yeah.
That's
I always say, maybe I heard it from someone, but the best rim protectors are the guys that keep the ball out of the paint in the first place.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And
last night you had guys veering, careening to the cup. The Kings
cascading, if you will.
Collapsing, and then it's either, all right, I'll lay it in or I'll kick it out to a wide open 3-point shooter.
And that's what's so frustrating about that, Whitey, as we talk about that. It's one thing to get beat off the dribble, but also to get beat off the dribble and give up wide open threes.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make sense, right? It's like, take away something. All right, you want to stay hugged up on threes, okay, then you're going to have trouble stopping penetration. At least you're only giving up 2s. But they were giving up both, wide open threes and the dribble drive.
Yeah, to me, it comes down to this. Rick Adelman used to say, it's hard to have a good defensive team if you don't have good defensive players.
Yes.
I don't know if this roster is good enough defensively to do the things Mike Brown wants them to do. I understand why he asks of it. I understand what his thinking is, and he knows we have to be that good defensively if we're going to accomplish the things we want to accomplish. I think it's a fair question right now as to whether the guys on this roster currently can actually do what he wants them to do. So stay tuned.
But that's up to Monty McNair and Mike Brown and those guys to figure it out. And so that's a great question. I know we're going to have Jerry Reynolds coming up, and we're going to ask him, and he's a guy that's well connected, been there on the sidelines. He knows things. I want to get his take. I just found this article on ESPN. At some point I want to get to 2024 NBA trade deadline. Big questions, targets, and draft capital
is the Bobby
for
Marks
every
piece?
team. Let me see here. Is it Bobby Marks?
Yeah.
Did you see this one?
I didn't read the article.
Yeah, I
it'd be on
just
the paywall, and I'm not handsomely compensated
I know.
by the Kings and NBC.
I got an account here. I just logged in, so I want to see what they have on the Sacramento Kings. I know we got our guy Jerry coming up here next.
Looking forward to that. And yes, Kings icon Jerry Reynolds joins us next year. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
If there's anything more stressful for me than holiday shopping, it's last-minute holiday shopping. That's why I'm so glad I went to Kohl's. I found great gifts at great prices, like stocking stuffers starting at $3.99 and beauty faves for $25 and under. And with a 20% coupon, I got gorgeous silver jewelry under $20, plus iron Kohl's cash. So if you want less stress and more savings, even at the last minute, you know where to go. Select styles, beauty, coupons do not apply. 20% offer ends September 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
What was that last night? Perhaps our next guest can help us understand what happened to the Kings, where they go from here, what this all means. Of course, he's the former Kings coach, former Kings general manager, former Kings player personnel director, former Kings scout, former Kings broadcaster, and all-time Kings icon, Jerry Reynolds. How are you today, Jer?
You know, I'm doing pretty good considering last night.
I can explain a lot of things. I really can't solve the Chiefs' problems or the Eagles' problems right now. But there's time for all these things to be taken care of.
Right. I know you like to watch the games with a big bowl of popcorn. I'm wondering if you made it through the popcorn last night, or if the bowl and the popcorn ended up thrown in the general direction of the TV at any point.
Well, I did use some language that I'm not proud of. I'll say that.
Jerry, you've been on the bench, obviously. You've had games where things just didn't quite go your way. I'm on the post-game show. I'm angry. I'm throwing things. I'm upset. But then I hear Mike Brown in the post-game press conference, calm, cool, collected. Just talk about what your approach has been, when the team comes out flat and lays an egg like that. And should guys be throwing clipboards and, taking the Bobby Knight approach? Obviously not as far as Bobby Knight, or does it take a calm, cooler, firmer hand to navigate an NBA season?
Well, I have a lot of faith in Coach Mike Brown. I mean, I think he knows more about what's right for his team than anybody else. And I mean, and you can't really know a team until you're around the team 24 hours a day forever. And these guys, most of them been with Coach Brown for a couple of years now. So I think he, and my guess is he might not have been quite as calm in the locker room as he was with the TV reporters and press conferences. And I understand that completely. In other words, there's a two-sided coin there. You got to let the guys know that, no, this isn't acceptable. But then you want the fans to know we're good. We're gonna solve some of these problems, and most of the time we're gonna come out looking pretty good. So show faith in the team, and yet let the team know that that we can't have that.
Were you surprised, Jerry, that the Kings looked like the team that had played the night before in overtime, and the Celtics looked like the fresher, more energetic team?
I was surprised. I kind of went into it with the idea, because I'd watched the Golden State game the night before, and I thought, well, they'll be tired. Now, I was also concerned that them getting beat and kind of giving the game to the Warriors, because they had a big lead and kind of just clinked it away. But so I was that did concern me, because I thought, this is a championship level team coming in mad. And I think that's what the Kings saw. They saw a clear championship contender that was really upset, and it wasn't like it's a long travel time. So but all that being said, it's really no excuse for the Kings to have played it as badly as they did, in my opinion.
Jerry, I think when you look at the Kings' season so far, the record indicates that they're better than last year. But the eye test says something different, meaning when they lose big. How concerning is that for a coach where, if you lose to Boston by 2, that's one thing. But to get blown out and to see all these double-digit losses, should we be concerned about that?
I think we should. And I'll tell you, because the one thing besides the one-loss record, which is still the most important guide, but I think win margin. And this team basically, I think, is below, is a minus in win margin. And that is concerning, because history tells you that if you're below, if you're below a 0 win margin, that you're not going to win 40 games. So, and the blowouts are why that it is below. And I think the Kings have got to figure out a way. Like you said, I mean, I think most people would say, well, yeah, if Celtics beat, they're going to beat most people. But, you would have expected a 5, 6, 7 point game, and you didn't get it. So, yeah, I am concerned. The win margin thing bothers me a lot. The blowouts, everybody has blowouts. Generally speaking, the good teams get blown out about mid-year or after, when the legs start getting tired. But so, it's a bit concerning, I would say.
As we look for possible explanations for that, Jer, and the great Jerry Reynolds is our guest here, possible explanations as to why they've been getting blown out. I don't pretend there's only, there's one thing that explains it all, but the fact that they're so vulnerable defensively, doesn't that go a long ways towards explaining, if not why they're getting blown out, at least explain why it's so hard for them to come from behind when they get behind, because they just have a hard time getting stops?
Honestly, I think that's it, period. It's, defense. They're just not good on defense. And they weren't good last year, but they were so good offensively, but they've taken a step back offensively now. My feelings are that that's happened because teams have scouted better. They're better prepared to play the Kings. So they've lost a little bit of their offensive surprise, but defensively, I don't believe have improved till I can see particularly. I mean, Fox has. He's a better defender, and maybe Keegan a little bit, but then you've lost at some other places. And so there you are, but it is true. When you're shooting 48% of threes like the Kings did last night and get blown out, when you're doing what you do, what's the most important best, that really is concerning. So
yeah, Jerry, you're right. I mean, looking at it, you shoot 47% from three, you make 21 3-pointers, and you get blown out. Like that's, I don't know if that's ever been done before. A team knock down 21 threes and lose by 25. Like that's virtually unheard of, Jerry. And that's what concerns me too. Offensively, you could argue the Kings played their game. They got what they wanted. The numbers indicate that. But then the defense, which was, when you look at the defensive rating, it was 15. It was 14 last week. It's back in the 21, 22 range right now. Will ultimately that be what holds this team back? We could talk about the offense and everything like that, De'Aaron Fox scoring, but ultimately, does this team have to get better defensively? And I'm talking this year, Jerry.
Oh, you have to do anything playoff-wise, they absolutely have to. They just can't. And I'd love to be wrong on this, so I think we all would, is that they can just stay like they are and really compete at the highest level. And I don't think they can. They have to get better defensively. I think they're good enough offensively now. I think they can, but they've got to get better. They've just got to get better defensively. And I don't know how, it's so tough for Coach Brown. I mean, you can't wave a magic wand on somebody and make them a better defender. But
you probably tried that, right, Jerry, with a few guys?
Yes, I have, and I tried to lay hands on them like Oral Roberts and everything else, and that didn't seem to work for some reason. It's like Elston Turner used to say with the Kings of when they were really good in the old days. Back then he said, "Well, we're not terrible defensively, but we're not good because we don't have enough good defenders."
Yeah.
And it's like, duh. Yeah, that's kind of the way it works.
Yeah. I know that last night kind of obscured it, but Keegan had been playing, he had the big night Saturday, and then against the Wizards had another big night. It's amazing to me, Jerry, that he was a highly regarded prospect, as he should have been. I don't think anybody saw him as a guy who was going to be an elite 3-point shooter. Does it surprise you that we all knew he was going to be good or hoped he would be? Does it surprise you how well he's been shooting the three ball at this level?
Not really. I of course, I've been a fan of his right along and just happened to watch a lot of his games in college. But he's got that sweet stroke, and when he gets his feet set, you just feel like they're all going in. But I just, whatever happens with this season, I think Keegan Murray I just love the kid. I mean, I think he's just getting better and better. He's getting better defensively. He's maybe the one guy that's clearly better defensively, and just taking his game up a notch. And I mean, it's got a ways to go, but he'll get there. This guy's the least of the Kings' problems.
Jerry, and staying on Keegan, a lot of people say they got to make some moves. They got to go bring this guy, that guy in. There's a belief that, they're going to wait, be patient, and let Keegan Murray develop into that guy. So what do the Kings need from Keegan, you think, the rest of this season? What should we ask of him this season?
I think Coach Brown's got him playing exactly the way he should play, and you just hope he'll get more consistent and a little bit better. I don't mean 47-point games, but he gives a good effort on defense, and he plays a lot of the top guys. You'd like to see him with your shooting now. I mean, get into that 16, 17 point a game average for the year, which is up about 5 from last year. That'd be a great stepping stone. You know, I hear fans all the time talk about, boy, they ought to trade for OG Anunoby from Toronto, and I like, you know, he's a good player, but I think it's year 4 for him, about the time he got to be where Keegan is now in year 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at some point, you know, you need to deal in reality. Sometimes you need to develop your own stars, and I think they've got I think in Keegan they've got a guy that could be an all-star player, and I've been, you know, people have criticized me a little bit because I've said, and I believe this to be true, that he's significantly better than Peja Stojakovic was as a rookie, or certainly into his second year, and the stats would back me up with that.
Mm-hmm. And you are a big Peja fan, right? I mean,
I love Peja Stojakovic, and you know, and he was a 3-time, 4-time all-star, and even at one point was top 5 MVP, deserved every bit of it. Don't know that Keegan will be better in years 5 or 6, as good as Peja, but you got to go on what you know, and what we know right now, he's there's no reason to believe he can't be either.
Yeah, Jerry, you know, and I just pulled up Peja's stats. You're right. Peja started out 8.4 points, 11.9, but then year 3, he really made that huge jump, 20.9 points per game, and Keegan's only in his second year.
Yeah.
Think about what he's going to be in year 3, 4, 5. And so 100% right, Jerry. I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, patience is a virtue, especially in the NBA, and I've always said especially with young players. I mean, you're getting them really younger than we used to, and so it might take them maybe a little extra, an extra year to kind of really know what you got.
Mm-hmm. Coach, thanks as always. I'll be in touch, of course, but really want to thank you here. End of the year, you've done so much for this show and all the shows that I've been on, and really appreciate all your time and your insight. Hope you have a great holiday, Jared, and we will talk to you again very soon.
Well, thank you, and I really enjoy the show. And Kyle, those Eagles, they might get it going. I don't know now. You know,
hey, I'll see your boys in the Super Bowl, Jerry.
Yeah,
rematch, right?
Hey, I'll tell you what, I feel good about that
right? Me too. I'll take it.
Thanks, Jerry. Take care.
Yeah,
we can arrange that, Kyle. We'll get you video of last year's Super Bowl.
Right.
That's the only way you're going to see it this year,
yeah.
right? That's the only way it's going to happen. Thank you to Jerry Reynolds. When we come back, are the Kings who we thought they were? Next on Sacktown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He stopped the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sacktown Sports at SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy during the evening hours. The clouds will clear out overnight, and then tomorrow morning we'll likely have some fog. We'll have afternoon sunshine, though, with highs in the mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's Kia's season of giving back at Folsom Lake Kia. Get low year-end prices and payments, plus low finance rates and even zero down deals with approved credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Discover Roseville's hidden gem, Timbers at the Lodge, nestled in the Timber Creek Golf Course. Savor a culinary journey where every bite tells a story. We serve breakfast 7 days a week with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m., where you can relax on the outdoor patio next to our newly renovated and expanded putting green. Thursdays always feature our $28 prime rib dinner. Reservations encouraged. Learn more at timbersathelodge.com. We look forward to welcoming you to Timbers at the Lodge, where exceptional food meets great times.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Get 10% off select concrete mix when you buy 1 pallet or more. And there's more. Get 15% off select primed finger joint boards when you buy 10 or more. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
O'Reilly.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts Holiday Gift Guide is here. If you're struggling with gift ideas, we have several options for gifts under $20, like a digital tire gauge, screwdriver sets, LED work lights, and more. Our professional parts people will help you pick out the perfect gift for that hard-to-buy-for person. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper. You know, the last couple of years I've driven an electric car, but I tell you what, since visiting the fine people at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, my eyes are wide open. They've shown me what a true fully electric luxury car is all about. I'm driving the Mercedes-Benz EQ, and I love it. Right now, you can get a select new Mercedes-Benz EV for $0 down, plus you get 2 years of free maintenance and 2 years of free fast charging. What are you waiting for? It's just a short ride down I-5 or online at mbfstockton.com.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Thanks again to Jerry Reynolds for joining us. You know, all guests come to us via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And tomorrow, guest-wise, Jay says he's lined up a guy that we've been talking about this week, guy who had some opinions that we kicked around on the show. Yep. And he says, yeah, I'll come on and talk to Kyle Draper about Brock Purdy. Dante Whitner tomorrow.
And kudos to Dante. He's not ducking the smoke. He knows I'm going to have some heat for him.
You're getting Hittner on, Draper? Yeah. How are you going to deal with that?
No, because I'm going to set him straight.
Okay.
He's you know, all his takes are I said it yesterday, Nate. Anything that comes out of his mouth, and Jerry Rice, mind you, you got to grade it on the curve. You
did say that.
You got to see who the messenger actually is. And so I'm going to ask him. He said we need to forget about the comparisons to Joe Montana. We need to start looking at Brock Purdy in the same vein as Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's too early.
Yeah, I'm like, dude.
Good point.
Explain yourself, Dante. And so he's coming in. He's going to be on the show and have to deal with this smoke tomorrow.
That's a great. I hope you guys have video for that one, because that's a video.
I just wish he was able to come in studio.
Me too.
Right?
It was there. It would be shaking in here. It would get crazy,
dude. He might ball me up and throw me out.
I'll go pick him up.
I don't want the in-person smoke. I'll take the over-the-phone smoke, not the in-person smoke.
I'll carry him in here. That's worth it.
We'll send a limo. What do you need? What do you need? We'll get you.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun tomorrow.
Yeah,
I can't wait for
so that's coming up on Friday, and then that's Friday, and then Kings tomorrow, and then the next night, and then you know what? Hey, Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, yes. And we're off on Tuesday also, so we're not back together until Wednesday. I think I might be off Wednesday. So after the Niners lose, right? After the Niners lose, I'm not. It's going to be a few days for me to actually react to it and talk, and
See, now you've been saying that for a while now. And when you said it against, they played Minnesota, that was one thing, but that was a long time ago.
But this is a tough game coming up.
This
is a tough game. This is arguably Super Bowl favorites. Super Bowl preview. We're about to happen.
You would think
right
so.
Now. Yeah, these two teams.
No offense to Jerry and his Chiefs.
Right. But yeah, the way Lamar, MVP candidates. The MVP might be won this weekend, this Monday.
Yeah, and an interesting, same position, but two totally different approaches
players
to the position.
Exactly. So yeah, it's we're flying out Christmas night flying to Portland. So what time are we flying? We're flying at 8:00. What time's the game? 5 something,
You were
right?
on the road for Thanksgiving too, right?
Yeah, we were in Minnesota Thanksgiving. And so
Do they have the games and stuff for you on the plane? A little insight on that?
no, you got the Wi-Fi,
Okay,
know,
so
and you know
you-
how that is.
yeah,
Sometimes
you got
it's
the
good,
streaming.
Sometimes it's not. Yeah, you can stream it.
Okay, I didn't know if
from
they
your
have
seat.
TVs on the seats with the games or.
Nah, I
whatever.
wish they should.
I
Right?
haven't flown a lot lately. So when we flew to Japan, the movies are there, and I didn't know there's all you do is press a button and there's a billion movies.
Right.
And I didn't know that. And there's like 4 movies that come up, and I thought, oh, that's it. Not knowing. So I watched Meg too, because I thought,
You thought that was it?
there was like, yeah. I was like, of those 4, I'll watch Meg too. Then on the way back, it's like, oh my goodness,
there's a whole
all these
library
movies I
here.
could have watched.
That's almost better though. You ever just go on Netflix and just look for hours, and then you're like, I guess it's bedtime now. I didn't watch anything.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Nate, you bring up Netflix, and I want to ask you guys this, because this was frustrates me about Netflix.
Okay.
I find myself only watching what they tell me to watch,
Oh.
what they put on the homepage, top 10 or something like that. I'm not searching for things or scrolling. I don't know.
Huh.
It's
the way I am is like, if you're telling me to watch it, I won't watch it.
Really?
Unless it's
Yeah.
real. Yeah.
All
I
right.
would just like, oh, you think I want to watch that? You think you know me? I'm not going to watch it.
Right.
It's stupid, but that's the way I would approach it.
yeah, I only really look at the top 10 or the For You, shows and stuff like that. I don't like
when it says who's watching, I'll say somebody else.
somebody else,
I don't
right?
want you
It
to
ain't
know
me.
who's
I don't want
watching.
you to. Netflix, don't get me started, man.
You got a lot of beefs.
No, because Nate, and we were talking about this, Whitey. All these subscriptions now and everything.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And you lose track of which ones you're actually subscribed to.
They literally have apps now that you pay for the app and it keeps track of what you have. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's insane.
I may have to get that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think I have like 3 Disney subscriptions. And I'm like, hold on. Like, seriously. So I did the bundle with it was ESPN, Disney, and Hulu. They ran a promotion.
Yeah.
You could bundle. But now I feel like I get an ESPN charge, a Disney charge, and a Hulu charge.
Your bundle's coming unwrapped.
It's like $30 a month or something. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, what happened to the bundle? And so I'm going to do that this weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
Just
Sometimes
write
you
everything
get the
down.
bundle, and then it's like a bundle for 2 months.
2
and then
months,
back
right?
at regular
Right,
price, and you're
right.
like, what?
Yeah,
I didn't even see that.
It's killing me, man.
This is kind of a tough weekend to do that. You got a lot of other stuff going on though. Maybe
Like
push
what?
it one more.
With them damn kids? Nah, forget them kids. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it is a busy weekend. It is a busy weekend.
Nate, do you have a go-to Christmas TV show or movie that for you says, all right, we know it is Christmas now because I just watched.
I wish I had a good answer for you, but I really don't. I'm sorry.
Drapes is you say Christmas Story?
No, Christmas Story,
Yeah.
Christmas
They
Vacation.
just did a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of Netflix, I think they did a sequel to Christmas Story.
Really?
Where he's grown up. I think so.
He's grown up now. What
Yeah.
is he, like a dad now or something?
I
Or a
think he,
grandpop or
yeah.
something?
Yeah. Can you believe that?
I don't know if I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, that's I don't want to get on another tangent, but the whole sequel or remaking, where's the originality? Where's the creativity at?
Doesn't
It's like-
sell.
Doesn't sell, right?
Doesn't
Sequels
sell.
baby.
Yeah,
That's what matters. That's the whole industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even movies, like the music nowadays, they're recycling old beats and everything. It's just,
You know what gets me?
nothing
It's like,
original
I
out there.
understand. And I agree with you, but you have a movie, you have a sequel. All right, sequel. I get it. The prequel is the one that I can't stand,
right?
because like I already know how it's going to end up.
The prequel should have been the first one, then, right?
If
we're
it's so
gonna-
good, why didn't
right?
you make that first? Why should I watch this?
Yes. Oh man.
Are the Kings, speaking of things we don't want to watch, that
Yeah.
we don't want to watch anymore, like last night, are the Kings who we thought they were? Not to go old Denny Green, rest in peace, great Denny Green. Are the Kings who we thought they were?
Who did we think they were?
We thought they were a great offensive team, historically great offensive team, right? We thought they were a team that could compete for the top spot in the West, which they still can.
Yep.
We didn't know a lot else. I think the big thing is offensively right now, we thought they'd be higher ranking, more like they were last year, better offensively, more dynamic.
We did. You're right. We thought the offense would translate to this year, like maybe not historically good, but that wouldn't be a question. And we thought and hoped the defense would be better. And I would say, no, they aren't who we thought they were.
Yeah.
I
agree.
They're actually, but the record says they're better though. It's like, how do we wrap our minds around that? We're disappointed, but yet this time last year, we were loving everything they were doing.
I'm not making excuses, but historically speaking, for somebody in Sacramento, it's a great spot to be in, because usually in Sacramento, if you're disappointed this time of year, it means you've won like 5 games.
Right.
Yes. So to have 16 wins and still be kind of underwhelmed, it's a great position to be in. So obviously just a little bit, as Jerry says, the blowouts are concerning.
Yeah, to be 16-10 and you haven't even played your best, that shows me if you can fix whatever it is that's ailing, there's some upside. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can we take a look at what Bobby Marks has to say about the trade market when we come back?
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know what he says.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's what it's all going to come down to for the Kings, perhaps. That's next. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
The push for the NFC's top seed continues on Christmas as the 49ers host the Baltimore Ravens.
Purdy throws for the end zone. It is caught by Deebo Samuel. Touchdown! San Francisco!
The 49ers look to extend their win streak to 7 in a row as they host Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on Christmas night. Game time at 5:15 on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports and sacktownsports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit. Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung a line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sacktown Sports. The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
I'm going to take a peek at what the trade market looks like right now in just a moment here. Kyle Draper, Buddy Gleason on the text line here. Thank you. Actually, this is a YouTube chat, pardon me. What does Alan call it? Sack chat?
Sack chat, yeah.
Sack chat.
Yeah. We'll call it drive chat, right, for our show.
Yeah,
Drive chat. Yeah. We have this. Heavens to Resin says, I logged in just to say the Christmas Story sequel is better than the original. He says, don't watch it. Don't watch it, Whitey. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Christmas Story sequel better than the original, according to Heavens to Resin. Who then, he's just getting warmed up. Then he says, Drapes, call up the high flyer, see if he can get Spud Webb on the show. My favorite king when I was a kid, please. He says,
Okay.
And then somebody else said, I didn't even know the Kings existed until they traded for Spud. Who else says that? So.
Oh, man. We need
Spud's
to get
not a
Spud.
great interviewer. He's a great guy.
Is he a great interviewer? Or no?
I think
I don't
he's
know.
kind of quiet.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah,
He got some stories, I'm sure. Though.
If anyone can bring it out of him, it's Drapes.
Oh, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're high
I never
emotion.
know with you, man. I never know, man. You know, our Niners-Eagles rivalry. I never know whether.
I think it's brought us closer. I'm serious.
Okay. You know what the problem with our rivalry is, Nate?
What's that?
And please don't take this the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
Before I, came out as an Eagles fan, I feel like you respected me. You looked up to me. You revered me. Now you just be taking shots at me and my Eagles sometimes, man. It's a different relationship right now.
I think that means I like you more. Maybe I was scared of you at first, but now I think you brought me in.
Yeah.
You're the big TV guy, the big radio guy, driving around your Mercedes, dude. I'm scared of you, and then now you bring me in close. You let me in at the Kings game the other day.
I did.
That's
remember
super.
that, Whitey?
I called you first.
Right.
That's who I called.
That's true. You're my guy.
All
Despite
right,
you being a Niners fan, you're my guy.
Can I just ask a quick question about what happened to you last night on the show too? I don't know if you've already answered this, but you had your guy, the Boston, was it not
Cedric Maxwell?
Yeah, Cedric Maxwell. He was he came over and said something to you during the live broadcast, and you had to pull the microphone away from him.
Yeah.
Was he just talking trash?
he I said, yeah, you guys beat us. He's like, beat you? We didn't just beat you. We kicked your. I was like, oh. All right.
Okay.
I didn't want to get in trouble, not only with FCC, but also with my employers. Why we got this dude on here, especially after we got our butts kicked. But
I wondered about that too, because I remembered when we talked to him, I thought he asked you something like, oh, we're on later, something like that. So then I was watching like Nate was after I got home. And then he comes over, and it looked like he thought you guys were going to do something.
I waved him over.
Get out of here.
I told him I'll give him 10 seconds.
So you could wave him off.
Well, the funny thing about it is you guys know where our location is and where radio location is. He had to walk from his location all the way over to the TV location just to talk some smack. Like, and that's what I said to her. I was like, if we would have won, you wouldn't have made this nice trip over here to visit me. And so he came over to gloat. You know, I was going to give him his 10 seconds, but then he went a little too
Deuce
far.
gave him some too, for sure. You know, that was good stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, that was.
You know, last night at one point when I was going up to after we ate in the media room, I'm standing there, and I don't know if you know, but the visiting weight room is like right there where you wait for the elevator.
Yeah.
So I'm just standing there, and this huge guy goes, "Hey, is this a visiting weight room?" It was Luke Cornett. He happens to go down. Yeah. So that's like, hey, there's Luke Cornett. Get in the elevator. Elevator goes up, opens, and this huge guy is standing there in a King's hat, massive guy, and I'm looking at him like, that's Brad Miller.
Oh,
so
Brad, big
he
Brad
got in the elevator.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he just looks like a Kings fan.
Yeah.
Just really tall. And then later in the men's room in the media area, it's like there's this long line, and I'm walking by, I go, that's Jamal Crawford.
Oh, yeah, he was there on the NBA TV broadcast. Dang, he saw everybody. We could have used Jamal Crawford and Brad Miller last night. That's for sure, man.
Yeah. We'll have to get Brad Miller on. What's going on here with the trade market according to ESPN analyst Bobby Marks?
Yeah, front
He
office
certainly knows how this all
insider
works. Yeah.
Bobby Marks. He's a capologist. He knows the inner workings of the cap. This came out today. He posted this regarding the Sacramento Kings. He breaks it up into several sections. I'll start with the first section. Front office discussions. Is there enough trustable paint protection to help slow down the Nuggets, Lakers, or Pelicans during a 7-game series? That's the question, he says. Sacramento allows 51.2 points per paint in each game, 20th in the league. Is the Kings' wing play strong enough to get out of the first round of the playoffs? Question mark. Do the Kings explore trading for Pascal or OG if either player becomes available? Question mark. A trade package, get this, likely would include a combination of Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and Keegan Murray, along with draft assets. It would also see Sacramento with 3 max players in the future. That's that. Look, anytime you hear Keegan Murray and potential trade packages, you're like, we're out on that. So that's what he said. That's the front office discussion. He says off the board in terms of trading.
Would never trade?
Wouldn't trade.
Untouchable?
And not untouchable, but I'll explain here in a minute. De'Aaron Fox off the board. Domantas Sabonis, he says off the board because of the signing restriction.
Gotcha.
Domas not able to be traded till January 6th. Harrison Barnes, December 29th signing restriction, and Trey Lyles, January 15th signing restriction. So he's saying right now, these guys are off the board. They can't be moved. And in De'Aaron Fox's case, won't be moved.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought Barnes was the 15th of December. So, yeah, good to know. Okay, the 29th.
He got the 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that he says the players with trade value, Barnes, Davion, and Kevin Huerter. And he listed their contract situation. Free agents, Monk, Len, McGee, Kessler. Controllable contracts, Murray, Duarte, Kobe Jones, long-term salary. He says, and then he lists the draft capital as well. The Kings got to send Atlanta their first-round pick this year, lottery protected. It's top 12 protected in 2025 and top 10 protected in 2026. They're allowed to trade a first 2 years after the Atlanta pick is conveyed. So they can't move, let's say, a 2025 pick because they don't know about the 2024 pick.
Right.
They can't trade a 2026 pick because they don't know if it's going to convey in 2024. Like, it may be kicked down the road. So in terms of picks, the Kings are a little hamstrung with what they do right now during the season. We got to see where things shake out.
I know they have all their picks after the one you just mentioned for, I think, till 29, but still, who wants to trade, because a lot of time regimes, there's like, I don't want to trade for somebody in 2029. I won't be here then.
Right,
so
right. I won't be on the job. I'll be fired by then, But let me ask you, I want to go back to the front office discussions part because, and this is a conversation we got to have. Any package to get a all-star level talent, it's going to have to, the discussion, the other team's going to bring up Keegan Murray. Is he off the table no matter what? Pascal says, I'm re-signing. OG says, sign me up. I'm just asking. Zach LaVine, you can get him, but you got – is that what we're saying? I want to know.
Yeah, I would rather have Keegan and what he can become than one of those guys, especially because Siakam is kind of on the downside, and I don't know he could help. He's going to help me that much. But more importantly than what I think, I don't know how you feel, but from what I understand, I mean, I would think that's how the team thinks as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't want to trade
Nobody.
Keegan.
Yes. I don't think so. But that's the problem we're in right now. We're having all these discussions about trade targets and who we should go get. I think maybe we need to lower our expectations and look at maybe the next tier down. Maybe it's the Carusos of the world.
Sure.
I don't know if Jeremy Grant would take Keegan. I hope not. But, maybe that level. Matisse Thybulle. We need to look at the middle tier guys instead of the big home runs, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And let's face it, the guys that the Kings would be willing to move are the types of guys, we don't have to mention names, but they're the types of guys that people call up shows like this and say, I think we should trade this guy we don't want, that guy we don't want, that guy we don't want for the greatest player in the league.
Our 12th and 13th player and a couple of second rounders
for two All-Stars
Durant.
Number one. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's what makes Monty's job so hard, because he knows what we need. And then do you have the assets to actually go out there and get it? I think it really depends on Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray is the linchpin of everything, because if he continues, like we said with Jerry Reynolds, Peja took off in his third year, 20.4 points per game in his third NBA season. Keegan Murray, and Jerry said his start to the NBA has been better than Peja's so far. If Keegan Murray makes that leap next year, I don't need Pascal. I don't need OG. Keegan's that guy.
To me, it may come down. Obviously, Monty has the final say, but he doesn't have the final say. I think I mentioned this earlier. If ownership were to feel like, you know what, we want to make the big swing now, I have no reason to think they do.
Right.
Or that Vivek does. But if that is how they're thinking, that's the only way I could see them saying, you know what, we need to bring in a really established star/superstar caliber player. We have to trade Keegan. Short of that, I can't imagine they would do it.
Right. I agree. But also, and I'll add another caveat in this, and Bobby Mark said it. Let's say you did go out there and make a big splash, get LaVine, let's say. You're talking 3 max contracts. Are the Kings willing to go that far financially? 3 max, is that the cost of doing business? And are we going to have, maybe enter in the luxury tax category, that kind of thing?
And LaVine's contract, as we discussed, is huge.
It's massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
And so we don't know any of that. We're a small market team. And I look at, I go back to Boston. Their owner has time and time again said, it doesn't matter. Whatever it costs to get the championship, we will do. Give Jaylen Brown $300. You're about to give Jason Tatum $300+ million. You just extended Kristaps Porzingis. So they're going chips all in financially.
The league just made it harder. It hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah, it hasn't
made
kicked
it
in yet.
harder for team, more punitive if you're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And now it'll be interesting to see. And if I'm Sacramento, maybe I'm patient. Maybe I'm waiting, because there are going to be some big names that might be sold off on the cheap with the new CBA and the new salary cap and things like that. The rules, it's going to be harder to have 3 max guys, and go into the tax is going to be more punitive for NBA teams to do that.
Trade talk. What do the Kings need to do? What will they do? What should they do? Returns. When we return, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Right back with more of that. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
It's the best team in the AFC versus the best team in the NFC on Christmas in San Francisco.
Murray back. Murray time throws. Intercepted. Charvarius Ward running back the other way. He's gone.
The 11-3 Baltimore Ravens bring their talent out west to face the 11-3 San Francisco 49ers. Game time at 5:15 Christmas night on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
God, I'm so stressed about my business not being ready for the holidays.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma, smart communications for the smarter business.
This is Jeff Scott. Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now, there are medicines that can treat COVID whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
What are we going to do? What are the Kings going to do? What do they need to do? Tough loss last night. Let's face it, downright alarming to see the Kings come in and be non-competitive against the Celtics. So we've got the deadline approaching. We've got time yet. Deadline is talking February, right?
Yeah, February.
Yeah.
Mid-February.
Yeah, but games like last night lead you perhaps to believe, at least lead you to wonder, what do the Kings need to do? Do they need to bring somebody in? Kyle Draper just breaking down some numbers for us here that Bobby Marks presented today at ESPN.com. The more I look at it, the more I think there's just nothing reasonable there for the Kings.
Which is heartbreaking, right?
In a way, it's disappointing.
But you know,
you agree?
I'm gonna have to look at the full list and see who's out there. Hopefully, somebody comes up with an article, a list of every team's potential guys they would move. Because the problem with the guys that we like and would help us, like for instance, Alex Caruso. Everybody wants him.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
So the cost is going to be high. The price to get him is going to be high. But is a Matisse Thybulle enough to move the needle? You know, Portland sort of in a rebuilding mode. Would you give up a first lottery protected from Matisse Thybulle? I don't know. I don't know. And is that a big enough move for you?
Do you agree? I think this is what I hear you saying. If there's any player, whether it's a Caruso or higher caliber player, if there's a lot of teams that want him, the Kings are going to be really hard pressed to put together a competitive offer if they don't want to part with Keegan.
Not
For
only
anybody.
competitive offer, you're going to have to overpay.
Yeah.
And the first guy, if I'm an opposing GM, I'm asking Keegan Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Monty, you're hanging up the phone probably immediately.
I hope so.
Yeah, you would think, right? Yeah, there's just no way.
A small market team, when you have a guy who's that good and you've got so much invested in him and he's, with his contract, I mean, that's worth his weight in gold to your franchise.
Exactly. And so Keegan's not going anywhere, So with that being said, when you look at some of your other assets, is it enough to go out there and get a Caruso, or I don't even know who else, Miles Bridges people have thrown out. I don't know. Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew out there in Detroit. I don't know. And that's the question if you're Monty McNair. And I will say, who knows? You might be in a better position in the offseason to make a trade.
Right.
A sign and trade or something like that.
It's just going to be a tough bullet to bite
for fans,
on.
right? Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like, I mean, let me see. Bleacher Report, let me see when they posted this. Odds old. Trade target list for every NBA team. It's old. That's why Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox get paid the big bucks. We got to get Monty on the show.
Yeah.
We got to get Monty on the show. We're going to work on that after this show, put in a request with the Kings and see if we can get him on the show. We had Doug Christie earlier this week. Once a week, we get one of the assistant coaches. I'd like to have Monty on the show.
Yeah. Chris and I talked to him on Media Day. I know you were out there. That's the last time we've had him on this show, as far as I know, on the station. But yeah, absolutely. We need to get your guy, Mike Brown, on too.
Got to get Mike Brown also, but he's difficult. He wants to give the shine to the assistant coaches. Yeah. It's I would love to have Mike Brown. We're going to keep working on that also.
One thing the Kings in the past had to do as a small market franchise, their biggest acquisition in Kings history was when they got Chris Webber. And the reason they got Chris Webber was because, he'd kind of fallen out of favor in Washington and there wasn't the demand for him. And they kind of had to roll the dice a little bit and Jeff Petrie saw what he could do and brought him in. And obviously it was great. And he's a great player. And I don't know that there's anybody like that, but as a small market team, sometimes it's almost like a Moneyball approach. You got to find somebody out there who you know is worth more than other teams.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They are undervaluing this guy. It's harder than ever to do now because of analytics, and teams do so much research on everybody. Right. It's really hard to do.
Yeah, and everybody's smart now. It's not like, you know, oh man, this diamond in the rough. Everybody knows everything about everybody now.
Right.
And I look at it reminds me of OKC back in the day, back when they had James Harden and Serge Ibaka and all those guys. You know, like to me, what Houston did, they saw James Harden as, remember, James Harden was coming off the bench for OKC. He was a sixth man early in his career for OKC. Houston said, you know what, that guy in a bigger role, he would take off. I thought the same thing with Serge Ibaka. I think the same thing with OG Anunoby, to be honest with you. Get him out of that system in Toronto. I think he could flourish elsewhere. And so, but who's that other guy? Like, who's a realistic target for the Kings? I don't know.
Yeah, and then, you know, we talked about this with Jerry. OG, and I'm with you. I like OG, but you swap out Keegan for him. Are you really gaining?
Right.
You know, all things considered, the money, and are you really gaining much?
Not at all. And Keegan's upside far outweighs, I think, OG. OG could be a very good player. I don't know if he'll ever be an all-star.
He's a really good defender.
He's a really good defender.
If I could add him
and
keep Keegan,
then we're talking
something. Right? But it's hard to do.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
It's tough.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to TC on Sacktown Sports. Hey, TC, what's up?
And Dre Whitey, what's going on, man?
Hey,
you tell me, man, what's happening?
Tough one last night, TC.
Hey, man, that was a tough one. You know I had to tap in on that, man. I got a few points, though, man. Last night was unacceptable, man. The dude's got to get up for those games, especially when Tatum ain't playing and all that. Like, you got to get up. It's too much up and down. It's too much blowing out. This team has to be mentally tough, man. And I think a lot of that is mental. It's not really physical. It's about being mentally tough, and this team is lacking that. Last year's team wasn't lacking that, man. And they really got to get it together on that end. On another note, I think a realistic trade. I think a trade that Monty just in the cut that we can kind of like pull off without giving Keegan up is like Laurie Marketing. That HB and Kevin Herter, or like a Kevin Herter, Davion, something like that, can get that deal done. OG and Pascal, the boy Missouri, he playing around. We're not giving up Keegan, and that's going to be a tough bargain with him. But I think like if not all three guys, two of those guys really realistically can get a Lloyd Marketing, and I think that'd be a move for us because what he making 18 this year, 19 next year, he'd fit in nice next to Sabonis, Keegan, Fox, and then Monk could be in the starting lineup. That's crazy. I think Lloyd Marketing is the guy.
Let me ask you, TC. Let me ask you, because I hear you. We love Laurie Marketing. He doesn't necessarily help you on the defensive end, but why would Utah give up a guy that just was an all-star?
Listen, man, because they trying to give up. Look, they trying to already give up on him. They said he's gettable. You never know what the Jazz is doing. They traded Donovan Mitchell. You don't know what these dudes are doing.
Who they trade Donovan Mitchell for? Who they trade Donovan Mitchell for?
What was that, for Laurie Marketing?
Exactly.
And then they turn around and say Laurie. But listen, Drake, listen to me. Listen to what you just asked me. And then now they turn around and put him on the table. They do crazy stuff over there, bro. That's what I'm saying. Money, if we look, hey, make them an offer that they can't refuse, and it's not going to have Keegan. And the defensive end, we got problems with that anyway, but we're not worried about that. We can play good team defense. You got to look at that starting lineup, man. Fox, Bunk, Keegan, Laurie, and Sabonis. That's nasty.
TC, you my guy. I like you, TC. I like your vibe. I like your style. But you got to stay off 2K, dog. You got to stop playing NBA 2K with some of these trade proposals you're talking about.
That ain't reality, Drake. That ain't 2K. That's a reality trade.
Thank you,
All right,
TC.
TC, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
I hear Larry.
TC we got to call him No D.
No D.
Laurie Marketing and Monk in the lineup. Thank you, TC.
TC is now. Why would Utah do that? And let's say they did decide to trade Larry Marketing. they want to haul back. He's an all-star.
I know. I've heard the same things that TC's heard. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you've
Yeah,
heard
we've all heard
he
that.
may be available, but not because they are just going to
Just
get
give
rid
him
of
away.
Isn't Danny Ainge like notoriously stingy too with his trade? Like super stingy?
Danny Ainge has to win each trade.
Yeah,
He's
like
not
by a
gonna-
landslide.
Yeah,
Like it can't be
Well,
close.
he set the price for like Mitchell and Gobert's like, 4 number ones.
Right.
And he got it.
He got it.
He
Yeah.
ruined the market with that Gobert trade. That was the craziest trade I may have ever seen.
You
in my
know what?
life.
I want to bring up a guy because I'm looking at Alex in the YouTube chat, and he brings up an interesting name. He says Collins and Olynyk. I love Olynyk, by the way, but I want to focus on John Collins. I think he's coming off the bench now in Utah. I think last night or a couple nights. Is he the answer for what we need?
He fell out of favor in Atlanta, and
It's
then he
not-
goes
doesn't seem to
Utah
be
and had a
working in
golden
Utah.
opportunity there. So I'm very skeptical. Yeah, I want him to be the guy, but I definitely think you got to, whoever you bring in, if you bring in somebody, he's got to be able to play defense. I love Lauri Markkanen, but as you said, he's not going to help me. The Kings are so bad at that end.
Bad defensively. You're right. And, we're asking Keegan to be our defensive stopper and to be our 20-point per game scorer. You need somebody defensively that can lighten the load on Keegan so he can focus on being the guy, 20-plus points per game, I think.
Yeah, the trade talk continues the day after. A tough one as the Drive Guys roll on next year on Sacktown Sports.
Harrison Barnes plays here.
Harrison Barnes drives it, hammers it. The Black Falcon soaring into the night sky on a Monday evening in Northern California.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
I'm filled with gratitude for the Golf to Go show guests who have trusted us with their time, their thoughts, and their dreams. People like NBC's Peter Jacobson, Angie Dixon from First Tee Greater Sacramento, former 49er great Steve Young, Sir Nick Faldo, the heralded team at Hagen Oaks like Ken Morton Jr., Tom Morton, PGA Golf to Go's resident on-air playing coach, Mike Woods, PGA Director of Golf, and all the PGA professionals and guests who have entertained us over this year's 52 shows. Thanks also to you, our loyal listeners who are there every week with compliments and suggestions when we might hit it out of bounds. Thanks also to the game that brings us all together, to the millions of men, women, boys, and girls who play the game. Thanks to the able-bodied, and thanks also to the programs that nurture those in need of a lift, like the California Eagles, PGA Hope, and many more. Thank you to Scott Marsh. We are fortunate to have lived life and had a chance to play the game. If that's your Golf to Go, I'm Frank LaRosa.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from and the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek in Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Final segment. We've got UC Davis basketball coming up in about 15 minutes. So we're heading down the home stretch. And as I always say it because I mean it, we appreciate all your feedback and participation. Interesting thoughts here on the text line. Haven't spent a lot of time on the text line today. From the 916, Christmas Story sequel. Haven't seen it, but I know it can't possibly be better. The mom isn't the same. And the dad, Jared McGavin, is dead. Better sequel? Trash. But they didn't put the name on it.
They didn't say their name,
Yeah.
right?
From the 916 here, talking about the Kings and trade values. It doesn't help that we got cute playing Keon Ellis and simultaneously destroying any trade value of Davion Mitchell.
Ooh.
I don't know if they destroyed it, but I think that's an interesting – I've wondered about that. Does Davion Mitchell have appeal to other teams? Do they look at him and go, we really liked him in college, not a good fit there in Sacramento. We like Davion Mitchell. I don't know, but I wonder that.
That's a great question. I think if you see Davion starting back in the lineup a couple weeks before the trade deadline, maybe they try to boost up his trade value. I don't know what teams think of Davion, though. You're talking about a guy that was starting on an NCAA championship team, a guy that when De'Aaron Fox went out his rookie season, averaged 19 points over the final 11 games. You're talking about a guy that has shown promise, but, and I go back to it, I don't think the system suits him perfectly here
Right. I agree.
in Sacramento. And so maybe there is a team that thinks, you know what? Toughness, defense, good backup point guard option.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Neemias Queta is in Boston right now getting minutes, and Neemias couldn't sniff the floor here in Sacramento. And so there's always somebody that thinks, you know what, that guy, I could do something with him.
And I know that draft, I mean, Davion wasn't going to be like a top 5 pick or anything, but there was a lot of teams with genuine interest in him.
Yeah.
Because of, as you say, his leadership, point guard, runs the offense, defends, smallish, I know, but I would still think there'd be some people say, he could help us. But again, he's not going to be like the centerpiece of a big deal.
Right. And that's the thing. If you're Sacramento, we had our boy TC on, he wants to go get Lowry Markkinen, but he's not giving up anything. Like, you're talking about an all-star caliber player in Lowry Markkinen.
What did TC say? And I apologize, TC. Was it Herter and Barnes?
Barnes and Picks. Yeah. Like, Utah's in rebuilding mode. What they're interested in most is young talent and picks.
Picks, yeah.
Young talent and picks. And so I don't know who's out there, man. We brought up John Collins. I've always liked John Collins as a possibility here in Sacramento. For some reason, I'm not sure why it's not working out in Utah. But I like John Collins. I would, as long as you don't have to give up a whole lot, I'd take a gander at John.
He's been rumored to the Niners, the Kings, like 50 times.
Right?
John
Every
Collins. It's
year,
like
dude.
every 10
Every
minutes,
year.
it's John Collins to the Niners. And I thought 3 years ago that'd be awesome. But now we're at the point where it's like, okay, you grab him for a second, but Danny Ainge again. Like, what is he going to want for John Collins?
Yeah.
Danny Ainge, former Sacramento King.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Jerry tells a story about Danny Ainge. Jerry coached Danny Ainge here, and he knew Danny Ainge was really smart. One day, Danny Ainge says, "Hey, I know what the problem is here. Would you like to know?" And Jerry's like, "Yes, Danny, I would love to know what the problem is here." And Danny Ainge says, "The problem is, I'm the best player here." That's your problem,
right? Yeah, he was.
And he was right.
No, but it wasn't like I'm the man, but I shouldn't be the best player.
Right.
I'm a good player, but I shouldn't be the best player. I'm looking at John Collins' numbers. 26 years old, so right along the same time frame we're looking at, right?
Yeah,
14 points, 8 rebounds, so he can rebound the basketball. 2 games off the bench, 30 minutes per game, takes 11 shots. Let me look at the 40% from 3 this season. He's only taken 3.7, but 40% from three. Now you go into his contract situation. You know, a lot of people look at that. He's making 25 this year, 26.5 next year, then a player option 26.5 the following year.
What has he given me that I don't have now? I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just asking if I have to give up something to get him. He comes in. What does he bring me that I don't have?
Some rebounding, some toughness, vertical spacing, lob threat.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at the point now, if you're Sacramento, I don't think there's that magic pill, that, you know, cure-all,
I agree.
you know, thing. Like,
look like it.
I don't know, you know, for instance, what's Pascal giving you?
Some outside shooting and some better defense, but he's not the defender.
He's not
he
a great
was,
guy.
and
Yeah,
his outside shooting is not what it was, and he's declining.
Like, there's warts on everybody,
right?
I think. OG, well, his contract situation, is he going to resign here? Like, there's question marks. Alex Caruso, what's the price going to be? Like, it seems to be question marks with everybody we bring up out here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sam in Sacramento says, cannot figure out why they're laying so many eggs when they lose. Coaching rotation seems erratic, but what they've lose is terrible. Pardon me. It seems to be against playoff teams. They never should have stood pat in the offseason. We have taken a step back in the West.
Wow.
The reason they stood pat in the offseason is, I think it's what we're talking about right now. There are no obviously beneficial moves to be made, and there weren't in the offseason.
There wasn't. Yeah, no, exactly. And you bring in the EuroLeague MVP you thought was going to be a bigger part. So far, it hasn't developed yet.
I hope that works out. I was never that excited about that because he can't guard people, but I hope it works out. Well, you know that, right? He can't.
Right. That's a big question for a lot of players on our team right now, you know? And so I don't think they brought him over to be, you know, I do think they brought him over to be a bigger part of the offense than what we've seen so far. And so remember what I said last week about Monty McNair. You know this. Everybody knows this. He's very measured. Like, his moves, he's standing between the lines, and then he'll strike with the Tyrese thing at the right time. He's not going to be, you know, up and down and reactionary to a loss or anything like that. And he wants sustained success. So I don't think he's swinging for the fences for this year right now. Whatever move he makes, it's 2 years down the line, 3 years. Like, this is going to help the team and sustain the team for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
I agree. That's why, for me, it's impossible to imagine him unless, you know, somebody higher up said, this is what we're doing. I can't imagine him trading Keegan Murray.
Right. Zero chance.
Yeah.
Zero. Unless you're telling me you're giving me, I don't know, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Paolo Banchero, something. I don't know. It got to be like a slam dunk, you know, future Hall of Fame kind of player. And who knows? Keegan could develop into all that. So I think they're ecstatic from by what they see from Keegan, his development, especially defensively. And so I don't think anytime a GM says, hey, what about Keegan Murray? Monty's hanging up that phone, I think.
Here's the tough thing about where the Kings are right now. You're better, so your draft picks aren't as
right.
high,
That's true.
But you still need to get better. And as a small market team, the draft is one of your primary ways to get better sometimes. But I don't have the picks that I used to get. You take last year, you didn't have a first round pick. So that's why last year was a little bit of a spin in your wheels thing. And you had to get your house in order with Domas and some other things.
Yeah, it's going to, like, those picks aren't as valuable as they were 2 years ago.
Right.
You know, and that's just the way it is. And this is the price of doing business for a small market. What needs to happen is you have to hit on the picks you have. And so far, the De'Aaron Fox pick, you got your guy. Keegan Murray looks to be like your guy. But when you look at the Kings roster, the fact that they only have 2 guys that have panned out as first-round draft picks in the last, Fox was what, 16 draft? Like, that's concerning. And I know you had Tyrese and you hit on that and you flipped him into Sabonis, but you've had a lot of cracks at the lottery over there. And so we as Kings fans have to remember that. There are a lot of misses when it comes to draft, and you just don't flip that and change that overnight. It takes some time to recover from that.
And that's a problem that, to a large degree, Monty inherited.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this is only his really third or fourth full year on the job. He came the same year I did, but remember that was the COVID shortened year. It was pushed back. And so he started on the job, I think in November or October. And so that first season, he just had to inherit that roster and then make moves. So this is really his third real trade deadline, I think, coming up.
Tomorrow night is vitally important for the Kings from this standpoint. You know, you, of course, visibly and understandably were upset. A lot of fans were upset by what appeared to be last night, just kind of where there was no fire, right? There was no push. They were not competitive. So you have to, tomorrow night, from the jump, you have to see it, right? I mean, if we don't, then it's like, well, we got a problem here. After what happened last night, if we don't see that tomorrow night from the jump, then we have some serious questions.
Yeah, from the jump, and not only from the jump, Whitey, because I'm not going to be boo-boo the fool and get fooled anymore. I don't care if you hit 50 3-pointers in the first quarter. I need to see a competitive game or you playing well in the second half.
Yep.
You know, because we've seen them come out fired up. Oh, they look great. They're ready. De'Aaron Fox is ready for this game. And then just like that, it turns. And so, Kings fans, we're going to support our team tomorrow. We're going to be fired up tomorrow.
Yeah.
When they hit 8 threes in that first quarter, we're going to love it. But we're going to hold these guys accountable and say, all right, guys, great first quarter. Now let's keep it up. Second quarter, third quarter, full 48 tomorrow.
Remember yesterday we talked about, someday it would be nice if the Kings could win a game when they don't shoot the 3-ball well. We said we hope they shoot it well, but boy, they need to win a game like that. Well, they did the opposite last night. They shot the 3-ball well, and they still weren't able to win.
I got to find out the stats on this, Whitey. I don't know if any team has ever hit 21 threes, shot 47% from three, and lost by 25. I just don't get it.
All right.
Doesn't make sense.
I know. It's all right, though. It's the NBA, so you get a chance tomorrow night to make good. We'll be coming to you tomorrow from the arena, the Golden One Center. Thanks for being with us today. Happy holidays. Stick around for UC Davis basketball, which is next right here on your home of the Kings, your home of the 49ers, your home of UC Davis basketball, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff